Topic 1. White individuals have begun to pool their resources together to crowdsource reparation funding for Black Americans. They are doing this in lieu of a federal policy. These organizations have successfully helped Black individuals in times of crisis. Do you think this is a viable way to help the Black community? Do you think this is the only hope for reparations? Or do you think that this isn't a worthwhile endeavor? All right, so yeah, this is just like private individuals, and they're actually serious. It's not like people fucking about. They're have actually helped individuals by pulling their resources together and helping them out, not just like with like cash payments, but like to get back on their feet if they've fallen off of it. So yeah, curious what you all think of this, and we'll go from there. Sig.
Well, to answer the questions, right? It's weird how we talk about like what's viable, right? And I guess that like any way that can help the Black community to me is viable, right? In the current state that it's in, I think that yeah, it's definitely viable. Do I think this is the only hope? No, I'm still holding. I'm still snorting that hopium. Okay, I'm still like I generally think that it can happen. Okay, on the federal level, it definitely can happen. And do I think it's worthwhile? Absolutely. Like this is definitely a worthwhile endeavor. Why not? You know, the more the merrier. People that are doing this sort of thing. Though I do think that it shouldn't be and doesn't an excuse to not have state or government issue, you know, sort of like reparations program. I think that would be definitely the one thing that this would scare me about, if anything.
Okay. Top Dolphin.
Yeah, I almost did the thing where you talk and you're muted, but I saved myself. Yeah, I think philanthropy is always cool. Like giving crowdfunding money and giving it to individuals who need it, especially targeting like Black and brown people, is amazing. It's like that's a great thing to do. Especially, it seems like it's a little bit more organized than just like people on Twitter donating to Black people, which makes it like probably more successful. So I like that. I'm always gonna be the person who says that like I guess there's kind of two ways you can go with this. Like, is it helping the Black community? Well, I'd always say that like policy change is better, but this stuff is always great. And if we're talking about reparations, I don't like the idea that like these people would be giving reparations because like it wouldn't be like any of the people today who would owe reparations, right? It would be the United States government. So like I wouldn't say this is like the only hope for. I mean, it's probably the best thing we're gonna get in terms of quote unquote reparations. But like there's still a lot of things like we can do to like improve Black communities and stuff like that through policy.
Okay. Let's go to Gambit.
Yeah, so this link is the longest link in the history of a topic, and I loved it. The only part of it that made me upset was when I read that white people were giving their Black friends money during COVID. My cash app was empty, so I was wondering.
Hello.
Did people forget who I am? But on the serious tip, like this, I think community involvement, kind of like referencing back to what we talked about last week, but I'm always going to be a fan of it. Do I think it's viable is interesting. Do I think that I'm not I don't necessarily think it's viable because I think movements like this are eventually going to peter out or there's going to be lack of interest over time. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I'd be all for that never happening, but I think it's likely that that'll happen, but that doesn't take away from the activism that these people decided to do. So I think it's a net positive. I don't think this is the only hope for reparations. I'm hoping that I'm just like Sig said, I think he said it best. I'm still snoring the hopium that we'll have federal legislation that comes through eventually. But yeah, I think it was worthwhile. I'm happy to see a community organizing to help Black people. So, bet on Black.
Okay. Be more. Bmar? Adam.
Oh, you hear me now?
Yeah, we got it.
All right. So obviously, charity's cool. I'm happy. It's obviously not the solution. Like the individuals are going to be giving, generally speaking, are going to be those who lean left, and also the way that wealth is distributed in society, and also considering the fact that we have champagne socialists out there buying mansions. Like, nah, like we're going to need a federal approach at this in general. Yeah, I'm happy for it, and I don't want to trivialize what they've done. You know, I want to say thank you to them for helping out these families in need, but we got to take this to the federal level. To what extent, I don't know. You know, I couldn't codify. I can't make a reparations bill, but I know somebody else there can, and I can critique it then. But that's pretty much it.
Okay. Let's go to Cadence.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say anything too different than what everybody else has said. Yeah, I don't see any problem if people are getting helped out on a one-on-one individual basis or whatever, just through like some like show of collective support. But of course, it has the same problem that charity has, and has the same problem that even the mutual aid has. And a lot of people on my side of the left hate it, right, when you compare mutual aid to charity. But I think the underlying issue is the dramatic gap between what you can accomplish on service provision terms and versus the level of actual need, right? So the amount of people that can be helped through charity or the amount of people that can be helped through mutual aid is dramatically less than the amount of people that actually need help, right? This is why we make arguments about this is why we even talk about structures, right, in the first place. And which is why like almost even like Lib Dems and Blue Dog Dems agree that the idea that charity could replace the social safety net is just a completely like is like hilariously like false and like ridiculous of an idea to have, right? So for the same reason that if you're on the left, that you don't agree that charity is a adequate replacement for policy, is the same reason why, like, though wonderful and great, though better than nothing, this is like wildly inadequate, right? Like this is kind of like my take on it. So yes, better than nothing. Adequate, not even close, not even close, not in the least bit. I know a lot of people like to be like, they like to do what would reparations even look like? What would it even look like, bro? And it's just like, bro, like this has been a discussion for like how many years? You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't bother to look at anybody's proposal for like reparations bills or anything like that. Like they just don't exist, right? No one's ever talked about this. How long have we been talking about reparations? No one's talked about it. So I don't know. Like you know, I like, I guess, would start with Ta-Nehisi Coates, and then I guess you could go from there with his case for reparations thing. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people are gonna have problems for various reasons that I think if we examine the reasons for their problems, you'll find glaring inconsistencies of logic. But, you know, hey, maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. Who knows, right?
Okay. Yeah.
No, I think you're definitely right. Definitely.
Open to
One of the
panel.
only problems I have with Coleman Hughes is that conversation arguing over reparations with Ta-Nehisi Coates. I don't agree with Ta-Nehisi Coates on a lot, but in that respect, I agree with him.
And yeah, and I
Very
don't,
large
you know,
amount.
this whole like, I'm sorry to
No, it's open.
you know,
Yeah, no.
whatever, but this whole like opposing like you know, so the whole like, you know, and this is why I'm going to go on a rant here a little bit about Bernie Sanders, but like you know, he was already suspect to me with the reparations thing, right? When he came out, like, oh, it's too divisive or whatever, because it was embarrassing to me that he would say that, considering that he supports allowing like prisoners to vote, you know, allowing like people in, not that I think that there's anything wrong with that. I think that's a good thing, okay, to be clear, but like that's way more divisive, like objectively, than reparations is. So for him to openly like, and he fumbled at that town hall. Does anybody remember how he fumbled at that town hall when she was like, "Oh, you're gonna give the Boston bomber the ability to vote on abortion rights? You're gonna give a rapist the ability to vote on abortion right?" You know, and he just fumbled, being like, "Well, I just think it's a good thing," you know. And it's just like, bro, if you're gonna like fumble like that over like this idea that prisoners should be able to vote, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then you're going to have this whole like issue with it's too divisive for reparations. Like, I just think that that's just like a real bad look, bro, especially on your racial politics. A real bad look.
Okay, so we're about to have a fight. But
you know, we can get to that, but that's not even the point. I was just like, that was a little aside. The point is just that people seem to have this thing where it's like, well, we can either have reparations or we can have other larger structural changes to like Medicare for all or whatever other like liberal policy reform. And my question is always, why not both? Right? You know, why is it impossible to do both?
So
right?
What I want to ask is that, and
that wasn't my breaking point.
No, it's fine, but it's fine.
That wasn't my breaking. My breaking point was the those poor windows that he did during BLM. That was the breaking point.
Windows. I don't know what
you're destroying businesses when you're, with these BLM riots are destroying businesses, blah, 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 blah. At a time when, and this was incredibly shocking even to me, like at a time where when you snapshot American opinion at the time, there was more support at that specific moment for the burning down of the police station than there was for either of the presidential candidates, just for that snapshot of time. So I thought that was like very interesting. I thought that was very interesting that he chose to do that at that time. But that's just like that might be a thing. Go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to say I just don't like it when you disrespect the windows like that and everything. Okay, Windows lives matter. I saw an Antifa rioter out there actually putting his knee onto a precious window. Okay, breaking it. It was disgusting. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Okay.
And the Starbucks. You remember the Starbucks?
Don't get me started. In the middle of while people who had businesses burnt down during that shit, right? Were putting signs up on their burnt down businesses being like, hey, our business may be burned, but we can't return the life of George Floyd. We can't return the life of all these people who've been killed.
Okay.
Yeah, some people were saying that.
I'm not saying you're lying. I'm not saying you're lying.
Yeah.
I'm channeling Gambit because I'm reading his mind here, right? And I think he has some objections.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Whatever.
This is gonna be a fight. But it's fine because that's what we love to do here. But so you're in good company, all right?
Good.
Yeah. I feel like that's way too far to expect of a presidential candidate, right? To say, yeah, good, burn down property, like go around and burn down businesses. That's how like what candidate ever would do that? And what candidate?
I just said stay silent.
Stay silent. No. Okay, hold on. First of all, you say he fumbles on the answer about like you were talking about like being able to vote, like felons being able to vote, right? He fumbles that answer, right? So like what he should do in this situation is that when they come to him with the question of the day, I'd be like, I got nothing for you. Is that what a leader does? No, you got to stay.
You do what a politician does. You just pivot to another topic so that you don't throw popular ferment under the bus.
No.
Politicians do that all the time. The Republicans do that all the time when they get fronted on crazy shit that they say. They pivot.
Like sometimes
they pivot. Like that's not regular politician, moves. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. It's okay, Kens. I like it. I like your energy. It's great.
Yeah.
Someday I want to like run for office, right? And like as more I like analyze politicians, look at the way they do and the way they do things. Like honestly, it's just like that's the way it's got to be. You gotta like be like kind of slippery about things. Like for example, right? One of the worst things Bernie Sanders ever did when he was running was when he said that what the fuck was it? Cuba has like a better healthcare system, and in many ways it's much better than
I
the
remember
United States,
that.
right? What he said was true. He shouldn't have fucking said it. Okay, it's just not politically advantageous. It's just not. Okay.
No. That makes sense. See, in that context, that makes sense because that is not the question of the day, right? Like, I'm not saying that politicians don't do that, what you're talking about, right? And Cadence as well. No, that I hear you. But this was the question of the day. How do you feel about the BLM protests, right?
Yeah,
the George Floyd protests.
Look,
no, you go ahead. Go ahead, Gambit.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, like how do you feel about that? And to like dodge that, and it's like, honestly, like I think that would have looked worse to me, right? And then what was his answer? Like, and according to you, because I don't remember this in particular, but I'll take your word for it. What was his answer? Yeah, don't break windows, don't destroy property, right? People who didn't
said during Baltimore,
But I think I think he did.
What
I think
Obama
he
said
did.
during Baltimore or whatever. It doesn't matter how bad the
Freddie Gray?
injustice is. Burning the shit is
I
not
think he
okay,
did some
right?
good things and some bad things, right? The good thing is he didn't demonize the people, but the bad thing is he didn't explain where the outrage was coming from, right? So
Exactly.
a
Even
lot of
Martin Luther
people,
King, bro.
yeah, like a lot of people would have said, "Yo, don't break windows," and I am 100% fine with anybody saying that. I would have said that, but I do think like pointing out, hey, let's talk about the racial injustices that's led to this unrest
That's
in our
thank
country.
you.
Like
That's
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 how
exact
I
yeah.
so I agree with some
That's
of your energy
exactly what I
on
was
that for
saying.
sure.
You could have just he
Yeah,
could have just pivoted and been like, "What do you think about this?" Well, I think that we need a lot of reform with our criminal justice system, and that there are issues that we need to address, and you know, whatever. There are multiple ways, but anyway, whatever. No president is going to be good enough for me anyway, so I'm just putting that out there, right? Just so you know. But I'm gonna but yeah, that was just a little bit much for me. But whatever, we can move on. I don't want to hijack the
Oh no,
conversation
it's
with
fine.
this.
Oh,
Like
it happens.
with
Literally happens
this.
all the time. Don't worry about that. Like that's not a concern.
yeah,
If it's interesting, then we'll go there. It doesn't matter.
yeah, for
But
sure, for sure.
Even sometimes if it's not interesting.
oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I hope that I'm not like totally out in the middle of left field, right? At least if there's some connection to Earth with kind of what my
Yeah,
feeling is here,
I mean,
right?
you're really far left, right? So you're supposed to be out in left field, right?
Left field is better than right field.
Two
so
different
it's okay.
senses
But
of the
I
phrase.
feel like you can be
but yes, thank
really
you.
a far
Clever.
left, but like recognize like the reality situation, which you do because you're saying like no president's gonna be good enough for you, right? So just recognizing that what you want, right, may not be reflected in electoral politics, but that of course doesn't mean that
totally
electoral
am really
politics. Yeah.
No, I
I'm
was
totally
making a joke,
reasonable
by the
about
way.
that.
I think it was
No, I got you. I love it,
surprising.
by the way.
Yeah, it was surprising to hear someone who describes himself as far left as it goes to like advocate for like electoral politics in a way. It's a breath of fresh air to finally hear somebody who's like really far on the left who also is like, okay, but there's policies we can put in place like while we're here and try to fight both sides of the scandal, I guess.
Right. I mean, we can go on a whole like discussion about like how people misunderstand. I mean, first of all, I'll come out in front and say that I don't like I'm not like a hard black nationalist, and maybe that's a discussion for another time, like the nuances of that. But a lot of like this false equivalency between white separatists and black nationalists, where they're talking about black separatism versus like white separatism and all of this stuff. And like one of the things, I swear I have a point with this, that Malcolm X was saying was that the goal is basically black self-determination, material self-determination, and not integration, even though integration can be a great intermediary step, right? This is like part of what Malcolm X argued when he was talking about black nationalism. And so he said that part of the problem was that like they had mistaken an intermediary step for the goal, right? So I think it's possible to acknowledge the value of intermediary steps, you know what I'm saying, toward a larger goal, without outright rejecting any type of participation whatsoever. Now, what the quality of that participation and how we want it to be, that's a whole deep discussion that we can go on that's a little bit separate. But anyway, whatever. We can move on if you want.
Yeah.
Yo, Cadence should have been here for our convo last week. That's what I'm thinking. He would have been on my side. He would have been the only other person.
I forgot to
Be
add
careful,
that
Gambit.
question. Shit.
Which question?
It was you asked me. You talked about do black people value black lives? You remember this?
That's it. That's
Sound
it.
like Jesse Lee
Yeah.
Peterson.
It gotta be more than that.
Yeah.
No. I know that when we asked that question, we all like kind of groaned and stuff, but like I do think that like the dehumanization of black people does affect us inward, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think Uncle Ruckus is a manifestation of?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
as
exactly.
a
So, like-
cultural pop cultural icon. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But the question
Yeah.
wasn't,
Like,
is it self-hating black people? No, it's like, do black people care
No,
about
it was in a context where we were talking about. Oh man, we found out to regurgitate the whole last show. We were talking about like, do we want to do this? We can.
I mean,
It's up to you, or whoever. It's up to
okay,
them.
so we have two ways that I'd like to take this. One, we can do this one, or I'd like to actually, because I think Cadence will put up a fight here. I'd like to talk about whether like property destruction is like a good way of protesting.
Political activism.
Yeah, political activism, and whether that's worthwhile, especially just destroying your own fucking neighborhood. So. Like, see, look at his face. He knows he put up a fight there.
Like how you primed that question, Prime.
And so I think they're both really good, but somewhat related maybe. But all right, let's go. I kind of want to do the property destruction one, and we can.
I'm down.
Down with that? All right.
Yeah, let's do property destruction.
Okay.
I personally think that like I'm okay with some property destruction. Like if you want to violently like protest and stuff, and you want to destroy government property, that's cool. It's like making a statement. Like you talked about the burning of a police station. But I don't think you really get anywhere with like breaking businesses' windows and burning down targets. And like it's good to empathize like where that comes from, but at the end of the day, it doesn't get anything done. We had record amounts of BLM riots that happened and like barely any policy, and half the policy that did get passed is getting rolled back on. It could have lost us the election. Like public approval of like Democrats and BLM tanked after like extended amounts of rioting, and it just seems like all of the breaking of like property was just like really, really bad compared to like what happened in like what could have happened, which like people were like super for all of like the protests that were going on. And I think like you said, even people like when they burned down a police precinct, they were like on board with that. And then they see you come into like communities and like break like grandpa down the road's gas station, or they see you like burning down like local churches, and then like that's when people like lose your message.
Flat out property damage needs to occur if you're protesting certain things. It's really that simple. Like if you're actually undergoing some serious tyranny, you got like, for example, some Proud Boys driving down your neighborhood and shooting shots. I'm gonna blast him through his car. So now there's property damage because his car is blasted, and there's also personal damage because he's blasted. And like there's situations for this that the government is coming down for some crazy reason on black people and some weird ass alternative, or well, let's go back in time. Like I would think it's in the best interest of individuals to defend themselves against threats, and sometimes that requires the destruction of some property. Now, a better discussion for me, like me personally, I would like if somebody were to pose like the question of, was this that, and I would personally say not necessarily. You know what I mean? Like a lot of property was damaged that I believe this is absolutely pointless to destroy. But then if somebody was to tell me like, what about the police department? I'll just kind of be like, interesting, you know, like my Discord icon is the flames of a police department, for those who don't know. So
B-More, do you remember B-More, did you ever, I'm sorry to interrupt, but did you ever see
Prime didn't know that. Now Prime's gonna look at my icon like, oh, that red stuff. Yeah, that's the flames of a pirate.
B-More, do you follow Hard Times at all?
No.
The Hard Times, they're like kind of like the Onion. They're like a satire like newspaper.
I'll check them out though. I like satire news.
They're hit or miss, but they're like usually pretty funny. And like you just reminded me. I'm sorry, this is a little bit of an aside, but you just reminded me that they had this hilarious like Onion like headline that was like, police station shouldn't have killed innocent black people if it didn't want to get burned down. That was like the headline for. I just thought that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I would like to add, like, this is part of the reason why Prime knows this, Gambit knows this, that I'm a huge proponent of the black community keeping the means of, being capable of being violent, having the means to defend themselves. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about here. Because at the end of the day, if somebody is willing to wreak havoc in your community or against you, you're going to have to be capable, regardless. You're just simply going to have to maintain the capability.
You want to create a Absolutely. Do you want to create a Mobius strip where you get the right wing on board with gun control? Because that's how you do it, right?
You
That's
know, I
you
mean,
start arming black people.
again, you know, it's like I'm not going to advocate for racist laws. It's similar to, you know, they're racist now, they're racist, and they'll be racist later.
I agree with you. I'm
But
not
at the end of
disagreeing.
the day, it's like, is property damage necessary for protests? No. Is it necessary for some protests or some acts of aggression towards you? Absolutely, absolutely. Capability must be maintained. We need to stay dangerous.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
no, you're fine. You're fine. So I think my feelings on this change sometimes, so I'll say that. My feelings on this like is not completely static. But so there's a woman, and it was like a famous clip of a woman explaining why it was necessary to do these things. She talked about like how like we've gone through literally every other avenue, right? We've done the peaceful march, we've done electoral, we've done I don't know, like just demonstrations, and no one listened, right? And so here we are, burning down. It was a Target, I think was what this was about. Burning down a Target, and now here you are, right? Like news media, right? Here you are actually paying attention to us, right? And she goes on to say that, like, you know, with the abuse that's come from white society, that like she said like you're lucky that this is all we want to do, is that we just want to strike back at like the system rather than anything else, right? It was a really good clip, I remember, and I hear that.
Yeah,
Awesome.
she said that we don't own anything. Like all these things are rented, or all these things belong to these major
That's
corporations.
the whole. Hey,
We don't
by the
actually
way,
own
Oh,
any
say,
of that
let
stuff out
me
there.
finish. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Say, go ahead.
I was
Yeah,
just going to
that was
add
the
to what he's
clip. Yeah,
saying. I was just
yeah,
going
the
to add
clip
to
in
what
the
you were saying. Did you go ahead?
in
Sorry.
the clip. I'll let you finish. Yeah, in the clip, she was saying, yeah, we don't actually own any of that stuff, and it was like we tried all this sort of stuff, and you didn't listen about any of that stuff. But like, I don't know, we like rioted in the '60s too. Like a lot of that stuff was a lot of that stuff was like rioting in there too. And golly gee, look at that shit passed. That legislation happened. You know, it was like, oh, what's going on? And I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm not advocating anything in Minecraft, but I'm saying that it seems like when that happens, people with power start to be like, we might have to do something? Question mark?
well, I mean, sometimes there's political action afterwards, but also there's you can look at parts of our like world that have had riots, and you can see that people were left there with not a lot of opportunity, right? A lot of the memes that the Republicans do on certain cities is because of like white flight in those areas that had a lot of like property destruction and things like that. So I mean I think what Be More said is best. I think that there's a there's a place that we can go that is too far where it might be able to be like justified. I'm generally against it for sure. Um but it's just because I like dissect these things a little differently. Me, I'm only worried about economic satisfaction. I don't really care much for anything else. I think once you have the economics, then you're more free in our society, and then everything else falls down from there. But but yeah, I think there are certain cases where potentially, uh, you know, rioting against property and stuff like that is justified. But I don't know if we were. I don't know. It's weird, right? Because there's all the historical stuff. So if you try to take a certain segment in time, it's hard to say that whether it's justified or not, because when you look at everything that's before that, it's like gross and horrendous, right? So it's kind of hard to make a call on it, but I'm generally against it for sure. Like absolutely.
Yep. I
Um,
feel the same way.
mm.
But you know, push comes to shove. Like I'm not gonna be the nicest person in the bunch.
Yeah.
But okay, so my problem. One, I think there's some nuance here because not all property destruction is the same, right?
Exactly.
And the targets that by targets, yeah, not the story yet. But the targets that I saw them attack, right, the different places that I saw them burn down. A lot of those, like, I'm like, what is the point of this? Like, when you're
Yeah.
coming through your own neighborhood, right, and you're destroying the infrastructure there, Like, what is the point of that? Like, there was this woman, and I've referenced this before. I never forgot it. There was a woman, African American woman, elderly woman, who was like standing outside that CVS that got burned down. If you guys remember that one, right? That CVS that got burned down. And she's like, "Well, this is where I go to get my medication. I'm mobility. Like, I don't have very much mobility. I have a limited income, like a fixed income, right? Like, this was where I relied on this for my medication. Like, where am I going to get this at all? Like, I'm screwed." And what do you say to this woman? What did you accomplish here, right? Like, so, but when you're like, okay, of course, a police station, that I got some more room for that, right? Not that I would encourage anything like that, of course. But like, I've got some sympathy for something like that, like striking back against the man, right? But like, was the people that suffered, and she's not the only one. Look, it's true that what that woman said, that, you know, everything is rented, nothing is owned by the Black community, CVS included. But look, people, that doesn't mean that people don't rely on a lot of that stuff. That, like, it's not important. That people can die without access to that infrastructure, right?
Well, one thing we should say too, and this is gonna piss off a lot of my friends on the left, is a lot of this shit wasn't Black people doing it. A lot of this shit was a whole bunch of white Antifa liberals saying Black people need us, right? So like, it was portrayed on the news as if it was only Black people that was doing it, and they used certain images and videos that had as many Black people as possible in it. But when you look at some of the live footage, you could tell that some of these things were incited by people that weren't Black, and you know, that was the thing that kind of pissed me off, because it's like there was a movement and there was a message about changing our justice system, and it got co-opted, I feel like, with these riots. And yeah, Black people burned stuff down too. I'm not here saying that Black people didn't, but I think some of what moved this needle a lot was a lot of the Antifa nonsense. And I think the Black community and the Black voices suffered a lot for that.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, I don't know. You could probably find this. But I remember on the news there was like they were showing there was like a they showed like this like Black individual protester being really loud, like up in a cop's face, yelling, screaming, rallying people. And then the next frame they showed like a destroyed business. And I felt like when I watched a lot of the live footage, like there were definitely Black people who were contributing violence. Like, I'm not gonna like dismiss though, say like, oh, Black people didn't do anything, but there was a lot of Black people out there telling white people like, yo, like, this is our community, you don't live here, like, don't go into the store and steal and loot shit, like, calm the fuck down. And I think that kind of shows how like even what could be well-intentioned violence, or could be like could like come to show like negatively in ways that we don't expect it to be. And maybe sometimes that's okay, but I think if it's not helping you get to your goals, and we end up with like a sort of like we end up getting dismissed like a kid like throwing a temper tantrum. Look, like the kids in Target, like, sure, like some parents might like, oh, I want a candy bar, you just give them the candy bar, right? But the Texan card is like, oh my god, I want a PS5, and you say, all right, I'll give you a candy bar, and then like, and you just try to pacify them and never get them to the goals they want to reach. And I feel like that's kind of what happened. Like, there was like a lot of policy change that happened that got rolled back. There's a lot of policy change that just never came to fruition.
George Floyd, please
talked about shit that was gonna happen and it just like didn't.
I understand that this shit is bad. I understand that people don't like it, but then there's also a side of me that's like, oh, boo-hoo, the Target that underpays its employees and provides shit benefits got looted. Like, at the end of the day, in my opinion, the way my positioning on this is that writing is still the language of the unheard, right? Like, what we saw in general was the people acting out due to being underserved. Like, so I can focus on the fact that this shit is wrong, cool. But in my opinion, these communities being cheated out of opportunity since for as long as their entire existence, since their parents' existence and their parents' existence, right? And then the end result is individuals acting out. You know what I mean? Like, and by the way, the whole right is a language of the unheard. That's not me. That's MLK. You know what I mean? This just goes to show how far back this shit goes. So to me, this is criticizing individuals who are rioting. I'm not saying that you're doing this. I'm just literally throwing it out there, right? So I'm not attacking anyone. But in my opinion, over focusing on individuals acting out against systematic oppression is extremely short-sighted. That's just my take on this.
Yeah, but okay, one of my problems is, right? For one, like Target is like the perfect example of this. They're one of the few companies in the United States that have established like a $15 minimum wage for all employees.
Yeah, that's shit.
Right? You might not think that's enough, but that's massive progress compared to like 99.9% of businesses out there who pay their employees like shit. Like,
clarifying that this is after the BLM.
Was it? Right? I thought it was before, but maybe not.
That's
I'm pretty sure it was after, but I could be wrong. If anyone wants to fact check,
I think it was like 13 or something before.
Yeah, I thought before they said the 15's the target, but we're gonna like ramp up there, and then like the date was in the future. But I could be wrong. But I thought my roommate works for Target, and he was making $15 an hour at Target at the time. But
he could be a manager. Target, right? He could be a shift supervisor.
No, he's not. He just works in tech.
Just FYI, Top, you were right. In 2017, they committed to raising it to 15. It was 13 then.
That's cool.
Right? Yeah. And like, I'm not to say that they're like Target's not guilty or anything, but like you target as like a lot of people are saying like, oh my God, Target underplays their employees. But like they're one of the people fighting, like working, like not necessarily fighting for change, but kind of working with us for like change.
Come on, like no, this is some weak shit. Like their education benefits are terrible, their health benefits are terrible.
Yeah,
$15 an hour doesn't get you into any damn apartment. My point is at the end of the day, they're still underserved.
One time.
Just because one grocery store provides a little bit of something doesn't mean they're not underserved. Like they're still acting out due to the systemic oppression.
All right,
like,
but when you target something for riot, right? You don't pick like if you have a guy who's like sitting there with like $15 in his hand, and you have another guy who's like peeing on your face or something like that. You don't target the guy who's like even though he's not helping, like he's trying, right? You like it's not the best. It's a terrible target for like a message like this, right?
It's the system they're rebelling against. It's not the individual company. It's not like they have a personal vendetta against like this individual company. It's the system. It's the fact that they've been cheated out. Like nobody's going to sit there and pull up like Wikipedia and start doing research on whether or not this company pays slightly better. Like at the end of the day, like all these companies, again, I like I said, I told you this shit's wrong already, right, Gambit? I already said that this is not correct.
No, yeah, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is literally people are acting out. They're angry. Some of them are blinded, and also some of them are just opportunists, right? We covered that also. So it's like, this is just a shit show. I personally would rather focus on the fact that they're underserved, the fact that they're not heard, versus almost anything else, point blank.
So I want to throw a bunch of things into the mix, actually, just sitting here listening to the conversation, right? So Sig, I want to go back to you when you were like, you were talking about, and I think Prime, you were the one who brought up the woman who was like giving that rant, right? He was like, another really awesome thing. And I thought like Trevor Noah was having like a random like moment of enlightenment, you know what I'm saying, during those riots. You know, he started going off about like John Stuart Mill and shit, you know, talking about the social contract and stuff like that, social contract. So, you know, yeah, and his speech was like amazingly like powerful for someone who's like so flatly liberal in the moment. But yeah, the point that you brought up, Sig, about we don't own any of this here, right? And I think that a lot of people can recognize that on the surface a lot of the times, but for some reason they compartmentalize that from the idea that they're destroying their neighborhood, right? So that's an interesting thing, but that's not what I wanted to throw in. What I wanted to throw in is this hierarchy thing, this underlying hierarchy thing, right? So let me throw a little twist on this normal observation. look at the difference between how the media portrays sports riots and white people sports riots versus the way they portray explosions and uprisings against forms of oppression, right? And can we put like a little spin on that, right? Like not just between black riots against whatever police violence and brutality, right? But just political riots in general, riots that are driven with a political motive, right? The skew toward how we look at and talk about property damage and so on and so forth, right? Now, let me add a little bit more to this, a little bit more to this context. Are we all familiar with the fact that the term race riot, what it meant before the 60s? Are we all familiar with that term meant before the 60s?
I'm
Like
personally am not
white people.
familiar
I mean,
with
I
the
don't even know if
definition
I don't even know if like
60s.
people. I don't even know if like race riot was even a super common term before. I think it was just like, you know, like some ruckus happening or something. Like when it happens, like when they thought they would use terms like.
So actually, there's a great I forget, one of those, is it like Mike, like MIC or whatever, one of those companies like was published a thing about it, but I think I can find the link if you want to see it. It's a real short video about the history of race riots is what it's called. And I think they pulled a bunch of archives of like newspapers and stuff from the early 20th century. But before the 60s, according to this, right, the term race riot meant shit like Rosewood, Florida, and shit like Tulsa, Oklahoma. And there were a bunch of other things like that, right? There are a bunch of other, Philadelphia, there's a bunch of other things like that, right? So let's put that also into the double standard, like point of view hierarchy thing, right? When it's like people who are considered the people who are supposed to have whatever rights or whatever, and they're doing something versus people who aren't supposed to have those rights, and when they're doing something, how the narrative gets shaped and framed, how the way that people talk about it. Now, this is open, right? I'm just throwing this into the mix and like throwing this into the mix as like a point of perspective, right? In terms of like how these actions are deployed in the public discourse and how different people are going to view what these things mean in terms of like their political opinions or so on and so forth, right? So that's already a lot to just throw out there, right? The shift, the possible double standard, if you want to talk about and think about it, right? So that's just something that I wanted to put into this conversation.
So
I
yeah,
didn't really
so I
think.
okay, wait, one last thing, okay. And the one last thing I wanted to add is you might be surprised to know that I'm not strong either way on property damage as a strategy, right? If it's not connected to a larger program for change, then it's effectively useless, right?
Yeah.
And that's my general opinion on it. On the other hand, I'm fully with the MLK and be more on this. It's the language of the unheard. It's like, it's like you put a match near gasoline and leave it for a long enough period of time. What do you expect to happen? Kind of thing. And I'm not really like crying over, regardless of whatever their job program is or their employee benefits, you know, I'm not like crying over Target. You know, I don't know what they pay in taxes or whatever, if we want to go that route.
Right.
But
Exactly.
And all of these people, this is another point I brought up with a friend of mine and her husband when she was helping me move last week, was you know, a lot of people like to flip out. I mean, and this is kind of an aside, but it's not, it goes in the same category as the people who are like, oh yeah, it's violent to break Target windows, but it's not violent to deny people healthcare. Like how we like think of the concept of violence, the way that different forms of violence are legitimated, so we don't get outraged about it, blah blah blah. But a similar thing to that is like people having no problem, or at least making excuses for the inaction in the face of giant corporations pushing mom and pop businesses out all over the damn country, and then complaining about small mom and pop businesses getting destroyed when people are having an outpouring of rage over murder, right? Over people being murdered by the cops that are supposed to be quote unquote protecting them. So I know that that's a lot. I mean, you know, whatever. I'm not trying to throw a huge web of stuff out, but I just wanted to throw that out to think about, right? I'm not like making any hard point.
Yeah. So
either way, just throwing that out to talk.
We got it.
You know?
Yeah. So I mean, we've talked about exactly. I mean, I brought up what you're talking about in terms of it was that one in particular riot, one sports riot that happened. And Fox covered it, and it was college kids doing it, going through a town, and just like trashing everything, like burning sofas, like flipping cars and all that. And they're like, oh, this is just kids having good fun, right? And anything not even
Very
half as
common in
bad
college towns.
happened. Yeah, well, anything like that when BLM happened, right? And it's like, look at these terrorists, like they're attacking America, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't even half as bad as what was happening there. So I mean, we get that. No, we see that. But beyond that, there's like I don't think that it's wrong to like actually question like a mom and pop store being burnt down and say that George Floyd's death is wrong. I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive, right? You can say that these people, like it actually, this is like something with me. It actually does make me sad when I see like just driving by anywhere and I see like a small business and it's clearly closed down, right? Because I'm imagining all that goes into starting that up, right? Like the effort, the capital you gotta raise. Like I'm imagining these people don't have all that many, especially in poor neighborhoods, don't have all that many resources. Maybe had people help them out, believe in them, right? Like we're gonna make this happen. And so now, and not even a fault of their own, right? No fault of their own. This place is just being burnt down. Their dreams. Will insurance cover it all? Will they be able to rebuild? What happens to these people afterwards, right?
Yeah, so
like,
That's the thing here. Wait, here in
What do
Atlanta,
you think though about the point I made about not caring about giant businesses destroying like
these
small
aren't
businesses?
giant. These aren't always giant businesses.
Yeah.
There were black businesses burned down in Atlanta that didn't have proper insurance, and those people are gonna have to pay for this for the rest of their lives, right? Like, it's another side to this coin that we should definitely. I think Prime is bringing up some very valid points.
Yeah,
But
so
the thing
I just want to say one more thing though, right? Because you brought up economic violence, right? Well, that's economic violence too, to them, to those individuals who put their life savings into their business, to put their heart and soul into their business, whatever it may have been, right?
Okay,
And
so
then,
can I ask a question? Go ahead. Go. Sorry, finish.
Yeah,
You're
sure,
still talking.
sure.
Sorry.
No problem.
Let me.
But yeah, heart and soul into that, right? And then of course there's any employees who might have been working there, right? And they're the people who, if that was an essential business for the community, right? The people who were denied all that. That's violence to all of them too. Like let's like if we're understand if we're gonna look at violence in a wider lens, we should, right? Well then let's look at it in a wider lens, right? So we're doing violence against ourselves here. I'm done.
Yeah, those hourly paid employees don't get paid when the business get burned down. Right?
I gave my original take on this. Like I did.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead because you wanted to get in. You wanted to get in the middle. And
How much does anybody? This is open question for anybody. How much do you think giant corporations coming into towns and displacing small businesses? How much small business do you think overall in the country is destroyed by that versus how many small businesses are destroyed in riots?
I don't know why you're juxtaposing.
You're laying it out like you're laying it out like it's a dichotomy. We can be against both, right?
I understand what he's saying, because at the end of the day, like nobody here is saying what occurred to these small businesses is correct. Nobody's saying that at all.
That's right.
At the end of the day, like first off, is like I'm not a politician. My job isn't to give public statements to these individuals, and well, it's just not my job. But I get it. But at the end of the day, like I am going to advocate for what needs to be done to reduce this from occurring again. Like some individuals want to take the punitive approach, right? Of like, if people are doing this, then fucking drop them. You know what I mean? Just stop them. Boom, done. No longer have to deal with them. I don't like that. What I would rather do is attack the system. What is causing these individuals to feel this way? What is causing them to act out? Because I don't believe that this rioting to the individuals partaking in this, right? It's a strategy, a tactic. There's nothing strategic about this, right? Like they're acting, some might say, irrationally, right? But I wouldn't really say that, because they're acting out of frustration due to an unjust system. So it's like, I get it. Like, how angry do I have to be at these? Like, what do I have to say to make everybody understand that everything that occurred wasn't okay? Like, I get it. Burning down businesses is not okay. Okay, like we're gonna beat this down, or we're gonna get to the point of stopping this shit from occurring again. That's kind of the position I'm in right now. That's the reason
Yeah,
why.
what can
It's
we
like
what can we do to that's jumping off that? What can we do to minimize riots, right? Especially the kinds that happened last year.
Exactly.
think about
Similar
that.
to the
it's a
abortion
better
argument, right?
conversation. Like we're gonna. It's a better conversation than just like having to say this is my third time saying that I don't agree with this shit. Like what they're doing is not a
sort of
tragedy.
like I keep hearing this like
Well-
individual like sort of thing. This thing focusing on, well, look at these individuals that were like totally hurt and everything that did nothing wrong.
They're
you know,
hurt.
and you
Yes,
guys
they
need to
are.
act better and everything. It's like, you know what? Yeah, they are hurt. What are we gonna do to
think-
actually make it so that
I
this doesn't
think
happen
one
anymore?
thing that y'all are missing is that I feel like we had a very strong chance for some sort of political action, and you all aren't paying any credence to how that movement was hijacked to become what it was, and it
I'm not
largely
ignoring
became. Listen, I think y'all aren't dealing with the gravity of that though. Like the fact
I am.
that we do have the George Floyd Policing Act and a bunch of other things, and then now that we're not we're, but now that the country is burning down property, that emboldens a whole bunch of conservatives, and then that stops us from getting political change that maybe we would have got without this. And I don't think these things were incited from the beginning from the Black community. So I see this as like a hijacking, and I think that may be
Absolutely
why.
not.
I
For
gotta
sure.
say,
Absolutely.
Like, think of it this way, like, these are-
BBC Gambit. I gotta say, like, so you said like those are these conservative politicians or what are these conservatives
Who never
like,
gave a fuck about
did
us.
they? Yeah, I was just like, so
No, I
like,
didn't say they did. No, but
No. I mean, the whole
This-
reason why these
hold on,
communities
hold
are
on,
acting
hold on.
out is because they know
I
these
gotta ask-
motherfuckers hate us.
what conservative is going around saying like, you know what, I really was gonna support this sort of policing thing, but then like I saw those riots
Well-
happen on TV and I'm like, you know what, fuck Black people and trying to
well,
stop.
let me
police brutality.
expand.
Like,
It's not only just conservatives that doubled down. There are people that were in the middle that were like, "Yo, this shit is crazy." So I'm going to this side too, right? Like we
We're not
can
in the
see
middle,
what
like-
stuff like all cops are bastards and all of this other rhetoric did during the election, right? These things are documented. So like we can see the damage these things did. And we can see how there might have been people who would have advocated for positions because the George Floyd thing was like crystal clear. It was like disgusting, right? And there were a lot of people that could have been moved. And then instead the public narrative, the world narrative became, oh yeah, BLM just wants to burn down buildings. Right? When we had the world stage,
I think
that was the message that was sent.
I
Oh, Black people just
don't
wanna burn-
think
So
that's what
something
I
I wanna
don't
bring
think that
up-
is the message that was sent. I don't think that's the message. There's a lot of what are you gonna say?
So I want to bring up something. So people always like to bring up this quote that rioting is the language of the unheard, and I feel like sometimes it's used out of context. And another really good quote from MLK actually precedes this part, same exact speech, is that he says, "I'm absolutely convinced that a riot merely intensifies the fears of the white community while relieving the guilt." And I think that's exactly what we saw happen. All the riots came in. Now, I don't remember his name, but the guy who killed George Floyd is like in the public eye exonerated of what he did, right? People are like, oh, look at like, and also like all these people in the middle, like Gambit said, all these white people in the middle, they're scared again. Not that they should be scared, but they're scared and they're like, oh my god, what if they come burn down my community? It's. I think he has it on point, and Dr. MLK in this case is this rioting. While you definitely have to understand that, because you can't just say rioting's bad without also condemning the conditions that caused it. You can't be like, but you need to be realistic in that, like, if you want change to happen, right, and if you want policy change to happen. Now, if you're like, I don't know where everybody here stands. If you like, we want to burn down the whole system and like remake the country or whatever, then like, sure, rioting's probably your path. But if you want to make policy change and you want to like improve the material conditions of Black people in the system we have today, or if you want to make systemic change through the system, you're never getting your results done by rioting.
No,
It's not
we've
happening.
made progress after riots. Not necessarily, not saying that it was caused by riots. What I'm saying is, riots have occurred in the past, and then we made progress. And then riots have occurred in the past, and then we made progress. At the end of the day, no, I did not mischaracterize that quote. Because why do you think I'm saying? I always prefaced with these
hold on.
riots were not
I just
good.
be clear. I wasn't saying
These
that
riots
anybody
were
on this
not
panel
good.
was.
But what I'm saying is, if riots are caused by those who are unheard, right? So riots are caused by the unheard. I would rather address the unheard so there's no longer riots. I believe that you have to advocate in the proper order. It's really that simple. If I'm going to sit here and
I'm not. So I just want to be clear. I'm not saying that you were mischaracterizing the quote. I totally believe that that's what you were saying. However, with the way that the quote is constantly used as a way to justify rioting and a way to say that like MLK was like in support of rioting, and the way that it comes off, I just wanted to like make that clear. I know you did. I'm not claiming you did, but lots of people do.
And right? At the same time, I
just wanted to be very clear, right?
Yeah, I don't agree with MLK on everything.
I know. I'm not saying
there's certain things I would rather take from other people. You know, like I think the Black Panthers are onto something in many aspects. I think Malcolm X was onto a lot of things in many aspects. So it's like, you know what? It's like at the end of the day, it's like I could take a quote from MLK and then I can, use it the way I want to use it. But then at the same time, I do give you credit, right? Like it is his quote, so it's not good for people to mischaracterize his words. But even though I don't believe I did it, and it's good that you didn't, you never said that I did, right? But at the end of the day, right, it's like rioters did go to jail. Rioting's already illegal, right? And making it more illegal is not going to necessarily work. It's like this double down culture of like drugs illegal, make them more illegal, right? No, it doesn't work. So instead, address the concerns. Go ahead.
So you guys just made me think too about. Did anybody see that old political cartoon that was resurfacing about Martin Luther King back in the day, where it was like
with the riots and all that, and he was like he was being blamed and everything. Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Can I draw a parallel between that and the fact that a bunch of reports coming out saying that like 85% of all the BLM protests were peaceful?
Yeah, 100%.
You see a parallel between that at all?
Yeah, because
like they blamed him. They blamed Martin Luther King, who was a staunch, nonviolence advocate. They still blamed him for riots that happened, and the parallel. All right, sorry, I repeated myself multiple times there, so just wanted to throw that out there.
I think when it comes to the rioting stuff, I think that like. Oh man, like I know that like I hear what the Dolphin's saying and everything. Even to a certain extent, I hear what like Gambit is saying and everything, right? But I'm trying to think about like what else are the options here, Like it seems like when African Americans get angry, they do things that are just like they do things that take the stand, that take sorts of things. And I think there are examples of this that are nonviolent, like kneeling for the national anthem, for an example. But like everything that we do for our rights, okay, it's always going to be a partisan issue. It's always going to become a partisan issue because that is just how things work in the United States. All right, whether it be like violent or non-violent. And the only question is just like, what are the things that is going to get the most attention? And I really feel like that is one of the most important things, like getting attention, which seems kind of crazy, a bit needy, but to me it seems like that's how you get an issue onto the stage. All right, and rioting seems to be one of those things. Property damage seems to be one of those things that flares up debate and gets people really, really mad. All right, gets the little Rittenhouses super angry. So, hey, if that helps,
wait up, everybody. Gambit, say the hot shit here. Say the hot shit here.
I'm trying to interject right now. Right, like it's true that these things get attention, but what type of attention do they draw? They draw attention. I'm getting there. Okay. We get attention, right? But the attention that we get is being plastered on TV as a race that burns down their own communities, right? That's the attention. Like we got to be real when we say attention is good. Yeah, attention generally is good, but how are we being portrayed in media? And the thing that I was going to say to be more, I was trying to interrupt him earlier. When we say the voices of the unheard, like some of the people burning down these buildings don't belong to demographics of the unheard. And I feel like that's why I said I feel like we look at these things differently, and maybe that's why we arrive at certain like different conclusions. But it's not true to just say that. Yeah, all of these riots were caused by people that have unheard voices in America.
I'm not going to say that either. But what I will say is, if you're going to
I would even say they weren't incited by voices of the unheard.
So here's the thing, right?
Continuation of it was a continuation of something that had been started. It wasn't necessarily like black people like, yo, let's go burn down our buildings. Like I know friends that had phones up in downtown Atlanta, and they were recording what was happening, and you could see how all of that shit got kicked off. Like these weren't just black people that were like, yeah, let's go burn down the black businesses in uptown Atlanta. Like that wasn't what really happened. There was some white dudes that did that, and then people joined in, and then all you see is the footage from the people joining in. So,
So,
like when we say riot is the voices of the unheard, I think we should be careful with that rhetoric, right?
So two things, right? First off, Antifa, if you speak to any of these, or you speak to individuals, right, who either support the ideology, they will let you know that they feel unheard, right? They will tell you that. They will tell you, like, you know, the fact that these Proud Boys are out there and we're not doing anything about it. They'll tell you their concerns. Like, does just because someone's unheard, right, doesn't necessarily mean that they are right for having that feeling, or that the thing that is being unheard, some things shouldn't be heard. But what I will say is when it comes to this George Floyd situation and BLM, that's the type of unheard shit that should be heard. And that is
okay. So question. BLM started in 2013, I believe. And all of the BLM riots from 2013 to 2018, they were almost always peaceful. I think there were only 2 that were violent. What Proud Boys did you hear about at any of those events? It doesn't exist. It was a boogeyman that was created for a whole bunch of people that
what I'm saying, no. What I'm saying is,
I'll let you finish. It was a boogeyman to come in and say, "Oh, we need to rescue the black people," and it created a situation that changed the entire narrative of what Black Lives Matter mean. Like somebody said in chat, go look at the approval rate for Black Lives Matter over time. It was like gaining steam, and then all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of nonsense, and now everybody's like, all right, even we were on Black is More saying, yeah, I don't know about BLM.
So I didn't get to say both of my points, right? Also, second, right? I don't believe, like, when I say this, that writing is the voice of the unheard. Like, I don't believe like this means that absolutely every single individual out there, every single one, with no exception, are out there because they're unheard. Like, I don't believe that has to be the case. Like, for the sake of conversation, like, I don't feel like I have to go into each and every reason why absolutely everybody is out there doing something. Yeah, obviously there's some people out there trying to steal a damn t-shirt. Obviously there's individuals out there just trying to burn down the Starbucks because they don't like corporations. But obviously a lot of individuals were out there due to feeling unheard, even if what they're not being heard on, or they're not being listened to, what they believe they're not being listened to for, it has nothing to do with the original purpose of the protest. So it's like,
no, I thought you were done. My bad. No, go ahead.
But overall, right? Yeah, no, I still do think that writing is the voice of the unheard for the most part, especially when we're using the political context, right? Because I'm not gonna subscribe this. I'm not gonna put this on to let's say people rioting because of sports. Obviously, they got heard, they lost, right? But at the end of the day, Gambit, like you're showing so much concern against these rioters, right? Tell me what you want to do about it. Like, I'm more than happy to tell you what I want to do about it. If you want me to start, sure. What do you want to do about it?
Yeah, I want to raise the awareness of people of hijacking. Like, I think that's very important. Like, we have black people that are saying, yo, this system doesn't work for us, right? And then you have political advocacy growing based off that message. And then that message is completely derailed by members of a non-black majority. So like, I feel like I love my white friends. I love white liberals. Like, people meme against white liberals. I like white liberals. I think there are some problems sometimes, but generally I do. But you have to be aware that if you're a part of the group that a demographic is railing against because of past systemic oppression, you have to be sure that you don't change the narrative of what their movement is. And I feel like y'all are just wholesale. Like, when you say rioting is the voice of the unheard in this context, you've bought into what the news has sold you, that it's been just black people doing this. And like, I don't like, I just think we look at, you have.
No, let me tell you why. Like I explained before, individuals who align with Antifa feel like they're also unheard. People who align with BLM also feel like they're unheard.
What don't do it on BLM's
Just because
watch.
someone's unheard doesn't mean that they are correct. I'm pretty sure there's Nazis out there who believe they're unheard and wonder why they can't get any type of political representation. I'm pretty sure there's white nationalists who feel like they're unheard. Why can't we get some white nationalist senators? Actually, you might have some, so shut the fuck up.
What about the all white everything?
The whole point is like, you're saying that I took, I sipped the Kool-Aid, I took the bait. No. But my issue is, I am going to focus on what needs to be focused on, in my opinion. Obviously, people have different opinions. My opinion is we need to focus on the fact that a lot of these individuals, since you don't like the all type of, since you think I'm saying
I don't
all,
care about the word all.
Some of these individuals, a good percentage of them, their material conditions are not being met. Nothing's being met. It's more than just beyond just material. Like so much is not being met.
But it's
Listen,
all
Gambit,
it's
Gambit,
a
hold
way
on,
to
before you,
all lives matter BLM though, right? Like
I gotta, I
BLM had a
gotta, I gotta.
specific goal, right? BLM's goal was a judicial freedom for black people, whatever the hell we want to coin it with,
Well,
right?
guess what,
So
Gambit?
but when you take that movement and you try to say, oh well, these people feel like they didn't have jobs and stuff too. It's like it's a way to hijack them. It's all lives matter. It's literally all lives matter. Like
No, it's
we
not.
we
Gambit,
need to we need to have
I
organizations that focus on specific problems, and we need to have many of them, right? For the white people, the black people, the trans people, the gay people, everybody should have some form of like political advocacy, right? But when we take this approach where we take any movement and we try to belabor it with all of those problems, that makes it a monolith, and then you can't make incremental progress anywhere because what you're telling everybody is no wholesale. You have to take everything, right? And we understand that that's not going to be a reality, right? There are certain fronts that we're
That's
going to make
true.
progress on, and we're going to make progress on other fronts at other times. That's
Sick.
what I'm saying that we should do. We
Sick.
don't have to all lives matter black issues.
All right, so I don't think that I seriously don't think that we're all lives mattering black issues, right? You were talking about like you were talking about like how a lot of the people when you say like the voices of the unheard, it's like you think that like that's making like a lot of that makes it seem like the rioters were black, right? Like black people were rioting. Gambit, the truth is a lot of the rioters were black, right? Certainly not all of them, okay? A lot of them. Why there's too much rioting going on
Sure.
to be just black people. There's plenty of fucking white people out there. They outnumber us like what 8-1 or something like that, okay? So like a lot of them were because a lot of them were angry and sick of things and tired of things, right?
Different things, right?
And like, and when we wait, yeah, different things. And when we wait about, when we talk about like, we wait after the fact and we say like, oh yeah, well, all that stuff shouldn't have happened. We were getting so close. Like the way you were framing this narrative, like, oh, the BLM support was just climbing so high, but then those riots happened, and then it was like, you know, it was just all down. I mean,
disagree?
that support happened because, well, no, I was going to contextualize this. That support happened because of what happened to George Floyd, right? Because of that, okay? And like, I believe that was the same case for what was going on every time there was like these sort of racially charged shootings going on against the police. You know, BLM support kind of climbs a bit higher, and then it goes a bit back down after a little while. Okay, and then it goes a little high. Oh, okay. Oh, looks so sad. And then it goes down after a while. Like this idea that like BLM support was at an all-time high after George Floyd because that was a horrible tape. You know, a lot of people saw it. It was terrible. All right, but the idea that like the riots were the reason as to why, like it would have stayed that way if not for the riots. Now we've all erased everything. We got to start over from day one. Like I feel like this is a false narrative. Okay.
Yeah, I mean-
hold on. I want to be
Go ahead,
clear.
Bo. Go ahead.
BLM like public approval, if I believe I'm correct, has been steadily climbing, or was steadily climbing.
Yes.
From like 2013 when they were founded, right?
Yes.
They were at an all-time high, like record highs because of the George Floyd stuff. But in general, Black Lives Matter was just like making massive, like over long periods of time, we're making massive like swings up in approval. And there might have been a few dips here and there, but for the most part, it was like an upward trajectory. And then the riots happened. And the protests were probably fine because it seemed like those actually bolstered the numbers. And then the rioting happening, and then the news reporting on the rioting happening, and now I believe they still haven't recovered from the blow they've taken to their image.
And the reason why that's misleading is first off, it was always going to plateau. If you take a look at the rates, the fact that like support among white individuals, because like I guess that's kind of what is the most important, right, in this context, right? It is first off, Dem leaning supporters. This is Pew Research. I'll be sure to post it. Like it's 88%, 92%. So it's like September versus June, right? And then when it comes to Republicans, right, it's also been increasing, but it's still abysmally low. So obviously, once you plateau, once you get 92 support among Dems, your growth rates are going to absolutely plateau because you already know it's harder to win over the right, especially when they're going to be against the shit regardless. Because a lot of them are either over or covertly racist. So it's like, again, we still got progress to make. What my overall point is that these riots, yes, they were not good. I've been said that, but I don't believe they're as detrimental as people want to make them out to be. But I want to address the what Gambit said earlier. At the end, I again, like your prescriptions, like I agree with you, right? I do believe, right, that we have to figure something out to deal with bringing light to organizations infiltrating other organizations and fucking shit up, right? I'll agree with you there, but in my opinion, that's not addressing the root of the issue, right? The root of the issue isn't the fact that individuals are infiltrating groups. Like the root of the issue is the fact that people are unheard, regardless if they riot or not. Like the root of the issue is the reason why they were protesting. That's what I want to address. If we reduce the amount of protests, naturally we'll reduce the amount of riots, right? So it's like I would rather attack things at the lowest level possible. Like instead of bringing light to individuals like infiltrating like these organizations, I would rather make the world a better place so people feel like there's less need for them. So that's just pretty much where I stand on
it. Cadence, if you want to
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So, oh, sorry.
No, Cadence, you.
Okay, sorry. All right. So anyway, yeah. So I just want to try and bring this point back around one more time between the double standard for like white sports riots, the like referral, how like the press cover the white violence, mass white violence in the past, the connection between the political cartoon with Martin Luther King and the report coming out showing that the majority of BLM protesters were peaceful and the protests were peaceful. I'm sure everyone here is familiar with the critique of the idea of respectability, right?
Yeah.
What's the critique of the idea of respectability?
He's saying like respectability politics and stuff, right?
Right. What's the critique of it?
What's the critique of being
the common reason that a lot of people will reject the idea of respectability?
Because it's just being performative for a white society in the hopes that they will accept you and that they will save you from white violence.
Yeah, the idea and the common critique of that is the idea that it won't protect you from white violence, right? You'll still overwhelmingly get killed. You'll still overwhelmingly not get the job. You'll still overwhelmingly yada, 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 sociological measures, right? That we can look into. So I just want to draw this point again between even when you are peaceful, like look at how people responded to Kaepernick. Let's look at how the right responded to Kaepernick, right? Even when you are peaceful, the narrative is still going to go against you because there's way more force in maintaining things as they are than there is for allowing change and being flexible toward change, right? And remember that one of the major critiques of Martin Luther King, right, who we know was committed, right, staunchly committed to nonviolent approach, like one of the major critiques of him of white liberals at the time was he's asking for too much, too fast, and he doesn't understand the virtue of incremental change. That's what they were saying about Martin Luther King, right? Back in the day when we had segregated friggin' water fountains and stuff still, right? So again, I'm not making a hard point on either side. I just want to throw this stuff out to think about when we're talking about these issues. You know, I'm not saying, again, just to hammer home, I have plenty of people that I like know through the anarchist circuit and the anarchist world that are like, yeah, burning buildings, bro. Yeah, that's hardcore, man. That's that punk shit. That's that, you know, that's real resistance. And I'm like, this is embarrassing, dude. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't connected to a larger program. It's not going to do anything, right? Like, forget all of the optics stuff, well, right? Even if the optics were high as fuck on it and everyone was like, yeah, this is awesome, we support it, it's still, when it's not connected to a larger program for change, it's not doing anything. So I just want to throw that out there, that's my opinion, when, you know, just so you don't get it twisted when I'm talking about the language of unheard and all of that stuff, okay?
Yeah, I think that's the bigger critique I hear. Like, I guess it wraps around kind of in the same meaning, but the biggest like critique I hear about respectability politics is that it's the wrong way, and that this need for violence and these things are how we actually incite change in our country. I guess it's wrapped in the same value system that that's gonna lead to you still being oppressed, blah blah blah. But usually when I hear that, that's usually what it's referring to. It's like, no, we should be more like Malcolm X, less like Martin Luther King. Right? That's the narrative that I hear most of the time. But I guess it sums up the same way. It's like saying that it's not like efficacious or something. I don't know. But
Well, the point is just that they're going to smear it regardless of how peaceful it is. That was my only point
Yeah.
that was getting in. Regardless of how peaceful you try to do it, they're going to scream at you for doing it. Doesn't matter whether you're breaking Target windows or you're kneeling at a football game. They're going to say, this is un-American. This is, you know, blah, blah,
they're
blah,
gonna
blah.
burn sports jerseys. They're gonna act out. At the end of the day, you're never gonna make them happy.
They're gonna
I get
let your football.
Keeping in mind
Never
that I
saw
don't
that image.
unqualified support riots.
Yeah,
Keeping in
Yeah,
mind.
so
Yeah,
I just want to say though, but like the them you're talking about in different scenarios isn't always the same, right? So
Sure.
like if you say they're not going to support you and you're talking about like the BLM riots, you're probably talking about way more people in the middle, right? Then that could have been on your side. Then when you're talking about the them that don't agree with you, when you're talking about Colin Kaepernick, right? Colin Kaepernick probably had way more support from like people who were like a little bit malleable to either side in the center than like BLM riots. And that's
that's a claim. That's a claim.
And yeah, that's a claim, right? And I don't have evidence. I could probably find it. But yeah, but in the end of things, like we always like to think of politics as like the left and the right. But I don't know if this is still true, but I'm pretty sure like the vast majority of people are in the middle. So just because the other side is always going to come out against you, that's not where you should be looking to gauge your responses to things, right?
yeah.
You should be the people who are on the fence, where the vast majority of people are.
I mean,
That's how you
I
grow.
feel where you're coming from, but I just have a fundamentally different theory of social
absolutely.
change.
Like I just fundamentally
So,
to be honest.
Yeah, I have a different theory of social change, and that's okay. But it's good that we identify that. Sorry.
In the 60s, in the 1960s, like on the fence was like, this is a states' rights issue. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I would like to like at this point, I might as well just come out clean. Like I just don't care. Like, and when I mean that I don't care, is like I care about these riots. I care as if I care that they're not right. What I don't care, right, is about this concern. Like, what do we need to do to stop these riots? Or like this stuff's wrong. This stuff's wrong. This stuff's wrong. I already told you it is. You gotta attack it at the root. Nothing else is gonna get us anywhere else. Like we gotta attack it at the root.
But
Like, I can sit here and I can tell you it's wrong all day. I can agree with you, Gambit. This shit's terrible. This doesn't lead to the best results. I get it.
It's not
but then
that.
I'm gonna focus on the fact that what do we need to do to stop this shit from happening? And I gotta attack it at the root.
So, but this is man, we're circling a little bit. All of this is connected. Like, we have to be we have to be strategic. When you say how do we when you say let's ignore listen.
I told you it's not a strategy.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. That's why it doesn't make sense.
Irrationally to an extent.
But that's why it doesn't make sense.
Stop these people. I can't just stop people from doing this shit by just waving a finger at them, right? And obviously, it being illegal can't stop them either because they do this shit even though it is illegal. Because first off, it could just be a matter of cops not giving a fuck. Cops are overtasked. Too many people are rioting. They can't handle it. Can't handle it fast enough. They call in the National Guard. Then it's too late. The damage has already been done. Got to address it at the root. We can't make this any more criminal than what it already is. People lost eyes. People have criminal records off of it, right? Obviously, people lost jobs, but shit got burnt. Like the damage is done. I can speak on the damage all day, but I would rather take time to address the root causes.
No, but
what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Tell me what you want me to do.
No, I don't necessarily want you to do anything.
What would you like?
I want you to recognize. I feel like I'm circling.
Okay.
We won't get the political change we want with this type of nonsense, and we'll always be at this. Right? We'll always be at this. Not. I'm not talking specifically rioting. Okay. What I'm talking more specifically is like strategic economic progress, and I don't see rioting as a part of that. And like when we can say, yeah, people are gonna go out guns blazing and because they're hopeless and stuff. That doesn't mean that it's strategic and gonna be helpful. That's all I'm saying.
I started off.
I'm
this
not
entire
saying that
discussion-
you're for it. Wait, no, I'm not saying that you're for it.
No, I'm not saying
But-
I'm not saying that you're saying I'm for it. I'm saying that I started off this discussion telling you that rioting isn't just strategic, that it isn't a tactic, right? I
But that's
specifically
why we
started
should demonize it.
No,
But
it
that's
doesn't
why we
matter if I
should
demonize it. Our justice system will do that, and the right will do it too. You know what I mean? What I would rather do is focus on the root. Like I already told you, I said this shit. We can watch the VOD later together. I did say that writing is.
I know you said it. I know you said it, but the way I get okay.
Want me to say it differently, right?
No, I'm trying to figure out what my root problem is, and I think you're going too soft on it. I think maybe that's my problem. Maybe that's where I'm really disagreeing. I feel like you aren't declaring it as bad and as harmful to Black progress as I feel like it is. And this is a difference of our opinions. I'm not saying that you should.
Because there's a hierarchy. There's a hierarchy. Our unjust system is a bigger detriment to the Black community than any of this rioting is, right? That doesn't mean that both isn't bad. Like obviously oppressing Black people is bad. Obviously burning down local communities is bad, right? But unfortunately, one of these situations have been going since our entire pretty much existence on this side of the damn world. Like I'm sorry that I place more rage into the fact that Black people are getting cheated in America than the fact that somebody looted a damn Target and burnt down a local alteration shop. Like I could still tell you that it's bad. You're never gonna make me. I'm never gonna say this a way you're gonna like it. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why I like accountability and all this. We're never gonna agree on the rhetoric, on the way of going about it. Because I'm gonna simply say, like, yeah, rioting's bad. Yeah, I don't agree with it. Yeah, but we know what we need to do. Attack it at its root.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the
go ahead.
At the end of the day, like I care more about Black people being murdered disproportionately than I do about Target's ability to conduct business or any mom and pop shop ability to conduct business. Black people being murdered by the cops. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's just me. Maybe I'm just crazy for having an ethical system like that, where I think that human lives are more important than people's ability to make money. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever.
I know where Prime doesn't want to go.
Yeah, you're putting that. I was like, no. I hate that. I'm sorry. I hate that so much. Right? Saying, I care more about this than that. As if one thing, those two things aren't fucking related, right? Black people's ability to conduct business, to strengthen their neighborhoods through economic success is related to like their lives and their ability, and the state's ability to enact violence on them, right? Like this is socioeconomic. All these things are related. But anyway, to say that, I care more about one than the other, as if those things are mutually exclusive, they are not. They are not, right? So yes, you can care about that, and it doesn't mean that like rioting, right, like solves the issue of those people are dead Black individuals, right? None of that. So, but when you put it out there, it's like, I care more about the one than the other. It's as if, of course, yeah, this is then this behavior, this rioting behavior. No, I get that. No, it's understandable because of the lives that have been lost, right? Like that's what that rhetoric sounds like. And so I don't accept it. I don't accept that at all. As if we can't.
Guess what, Prime? Like too damn bad, right? Because
for clarification's sake, I don't disagree with you, Prime. I agree that you can care about both of those things at the same time. But I feel like what Gambit was asking is for us to condemn the riots, and I'm just putting out my like logic for why I don't condemn them and I don't care. Like my focus is on whatever is going to stop the most immediate, most serious harm,
including riots.
It's not that I want y'all
and that's the point, be more like it's connected, right? What's going to stop the riot is going to be similar to the abortion thing, right? Are you going to argue against abortion and contraceptives, right? How are you going to argue against and say, the similar type of thing, right?
I cannot condemn these rioting enough. I can condemn it. I can scream and yell. I can call them all pieces of shit. I can do all this shit. What do you want? At the end of the day, there is a root cause to these riots. And that is what I would rather spend most of my energy on. That's
Yeah,
it.
so
It's just a matter of
That's-
priority. That's it.
It's a matter of.
That's it.
I do have.
It's not a
prioritized
matter
one
of
over the other.
priority. Sorry, hold on.
Other.
From the people, and I don't mean, especially not at Cadence because you've never been here before, right? But like, we've talked about these root causes. Not like now we haven't been addressing it. Not like other people don't understand it, right? Like we talk about the root causes. We talk about the ways to solve these causes, right? How to address the issue. We talk about that all the goddamn time, right? Just at this time, we're talking about this issue. This issue being the rioting, being people's dreams go up in flames, right? Like that actually, because that fucking matters to those people. That actually matters, right? I mean, like, look, even what I'm doing here, right? Like, this is not like the level of effort here is not equal to what goes into a mom and pop store. To be very, very clear, right? But it's a lot. It's a lot, and it was threatened, right? And that meant something to me, right? To think my dreams would figuratively go up in smoke, yeah, that fucking hurts. And I can imagine a person, right, looking at the charred remains of their store, right, like, how am I more free? How am I, if I go into poverty after this, right, and I'm more susceptible to the violence of the state, like, who freed me? I said this when the George Floyd protests are happening, right? When the riots are happening, I'm like, don't come to my neighborhood. I live in an all-black neighborhood. Don't come and free me in this neighborhood, right? Like I don't need that. I don't need that kind of liberty,
So,
right? Liberty of a charred landscape. No thanks.
Prime, this is a
agree
Prime.
with
This
you,
is
though.
like this is like a hot thing to drop. Okay.
Oh boy.
What if
Oh, God.
what if I said that this is bigger than just you?
Oh no. This one I didn't
Let's
make
get
it.
it.
No, I didn't make it
Justify
just. Hold on. I didn't make it just
all
about
right,
me.
all right, Sig,
I
Nacho,
didn't-
get out of here with your
No,
fake
man.
hot takes.
No,
Okay?
Yeah,
no,
it's
no,
fake. I was expecting
Alright.
better from
No,
Sig.
No, let him
Uh,
finish.
Hold on, wait.
I'm not saying
Just-
I'm not just saying like it's not bigger than just you, but it's bigger than just like all of the
Yeah.
like the people, the individuals that like the black guy after the LA riots that Fox News likes to post where it's like, what about my computer? Who smashed my video store? What about my stuff? I'm like, what if this is bigger than him? What if this is bigger than the mom and pop
Okay.
store?
If
What
that
this
was
is
a
bigger than
wait,
all of that?
listen. If you could sell me on what the strategy was, then I could buy into that, right? But there's absolutely no strategy.
I already told you.
No,
not to-
these aren't railroad
no,
or straight
Gambit,
furniture. Like,
Gambit, you're right.
I told you.
Gambit, you're right. There is no strategy. There's
That's the
rage.
problem, yeah.
There's emotion. It's
Yeah.
raw. It's absolutely
and I
it's
think acting like
hatred.
a-
It 100% is. But listen, I'm not. It's so strange that like, oh god, it's weird. It's just like we shouldn't plan to riot, right? Like I'm not saying like riots are not these things that are planned out and just
Yeah.
care. Like, oh, we're gonna fucking riot, right?
Yeah.
They happen because of anger and piled up and rage and these things and these feelings, these emotions of feeling, unheard. Okay, and like that's why it's happening. So I feel like we have to just like be more said. We have to attack the root problem of why people feel that way. Okay, instead of spending like more months, right? Instead of spending more months and more time and more panels and more discussions and more Fox News posts talking about all these individual mom and pop stores that they don't give a fuck about. Okay, at the end of the day,
I
all right,
do.
because ain't nobody here made no mom and pop store. All right.
No. But like, I want to
Instead of
make
like instead of actually putting this time towards thinking about why do people feel so alienated
wait.
from their
Can
society?
I answer this? I don't give a fuck why people feel that way. This is gonna sound bad, but what I care about is people getting in their community and building their fucking community up, right? Like I care about people actually going to their community, serving their community, making it more economically successful. I don't give a fuck why people feel how they feel. The root of all of this is we need more economic freedom, right? All of it. All of it boils down
Okay,
into
so
that.
we're at the chicken and egg again.
It's not the
It's just
chicken and
like-
egg.
it's just-
No.
Okay,
It
so
isn't.
Gambit.
No,
Why?
no,
Gambit, I gotta ask you a question.
only come first is community building.
Why do people not feel the need to build up their community? Gambit.
Because they haven't been sweet talked with the right strategies. And
Because
they act like
feel
petulant
alienated
children.
from their
Like,
community. Gambit.
Oh my god,
that's
this
why.
is last week all over again. All right,
Yeah,
before we go
absolutely.
back into that. Okay, I'm
it-
gonna
it-
pivot a little bit because it's been something that's been brought up a lot. I would drop a hot take here. I think, or maybe not. People keep bringing up small businesses, right?
oh God.
Who the fuck cares about small businesses?
What?
Apparently nobody.
If you want to talk about like the materials of conditions of people, small businesses are like some of the worst offenders when it comes to like not paying employees, and it comes to not
Stop
giving
it.
workers adequate pay.
Wait.
When it comes to not giving workers health insurance and
should-
shit like that,
we should-
small
we should
businesses
get in
are the
corporations.
biggest offender.
Oh,
When
we
we talk about not raising the minimum wage, we're not talking about not raising minimum wages because like Republicans aren't talking about not raising minimum wages because
God.
because
We're gonna have a
Walmart
fight.
can't afford it. They're talking about, oh, what about all the small businesses that can't afford it?
We're gonna have a
Right?
fight.
And like at the end of the day, like we just say fuck you to small businesses that can sustain themselves on people who have livable wages.
We're about
No,
to
it's
have a
literally what
wages,
conservatives.
right?
No, like they're
I'm
using
not-
small
some
businesses.
sense
Like,
of the
call out, okay? They don't even care about small businesses either. They care about corporation, but they're going to
You need
say
to-
it's small business because it works. It's
No,
literally
Bimo,
persuasive speech. It's all
Bimo,
it
we
is.
gotta let people clip the biggest shield for gigantic corporations
Oh yeah,
in the history of this panel. That was the biggest. Like, wait, maybe I was too much on your side about Target. Maybe Bimo, you're winning me over. Just we don't care about small business, bro.
Look, what I would say.
How do you think we're gonna get to any form of like
Let me
wealth
share.
equality? It's through us forming businesses and getting more wealthy.
Like,
Like
you see
Oh, no.
Asian communities, right? Like how do they build up the economic power? Small businesses. Like
yes,
creating economies within
Wait,
and then people supporting
just wanna
those
make clear,
economies.
I'm
right?
not against small
Oh,
businesses,
but who
right?
cares about small
I
businesses?
think a lot of the time we do this thing where we hold small businesses
we
on this
fetishize
high
them.
up
We
pedestal,
fetishize them.
right?
I get
we
you.
fetishize the fuck out of them.
No.
And we talk about like I don't know. We've talked a lot about on this panel on like how small businesses like are being impacted and stuff like that, and like that's bad, right? But at the same time, right?
Why?
I could see the same argumentation being used, like, by like Republicans. Oh my gosh, our small businesses are going to go out of business. Well, you can't raise the minimum wage to 15
that's
an
not
hour.
the same. Hold on.
No,
No.
no.
Just because the target is the same, right, doesn't mean the reasoning is the same, right? So like we can ignore that, right? Like you're saying, well, small businesses are bad or aren't giving their employees health care. Yeah, they aren't. You know what we should do? We should have Medicare for all. That's the answer to that. Rather than requiring these small businesses to supply that, like that massive cost, right? That massive cost. Like, yeah, let's have the government handle it like a real fucking first world country. Let's try that. Like we can try that first, right?
I'm on board.
Okay, great.
So what do we do about the small businesses who literally don't pay employees?
Okay, great,
right?
because that's
We'll
exactly where I was going to go
months
next.
without paying
And that's
employees.
exactly going next.
it's those families deciding to organize that way to make it.
Oh boy, you start first of all with like taking that weight off of them, right? And then definitely more small businesses will be able to afford that. If you make the environment for businesses to exist easier, right? Like you give them support that they need, then yeah, they'll have more capital to direct there. But one or the other, they should be forced.
This is fucking bullshit. Prime.
One or the other,
shit.
like we should raise it, because if you can't, because after giving that level of support, right? After you get that level of support and they're still not doing it, okay, well then I guess you got to go out of business. All right, then what it is, right? I don't like it's not that I'm fetishizing a small business. I'm simply saying that destroying them, like actively burning them down, is a bit problematic, and it does not help the community. Like that part doesn't help, right? But it's not like that I'm saying that small businesses, I don't know.
So first let me extend a little bit of olive branch. So I'm going to tear it down. But I agree that. But my thing is, when you like, I agree that I don't think destroying small business is the answer. But I think when people do say that like rioting is the answer and stuff, and then like the response is, well, you're destroying small businesses, right? It seems a little bit like we're trying to use the fetishization of small businesses as a way to say that like you're impacting the community, when a lot of these small businesses might be doing really shitty things. Second, I want to pull back against this idea that small businesses that aren't providing healthcare to their people already, when we provide healthcare, they're going to be able to allocate resources that weren't being allocated somewhere else.
When I heard that myself, I'm like, oh, that's not a good point. But no, fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but
No,
otherwise, yeah,
no.
that's all I was saying. I
Top.
don't hate small businesses. You can go support your small businesses and stuff. But like, I think like something we need to be realistic about and okay with saying is that if we want to improve the material conditions of people, some small businesses are going to have to fall.
100%. Some small businesses have to go out of business if you cannot provide your
Just not
employees
burn
with a
down.
proper wage. Then I agree with you.
Let
I'm
me
not
be
gonna.
clear. The same standard for large corporations. If a large corporation doesn't want to like fuck their profit margins to give people healthcare and to give people a livable wages and benefits, like fuck them too, right? Like I'm not just like
fair enough. Yeah.
Apply the same standards across the board.
So, Top, first off, we want to thank you for walking back your crazy take. Like,
Whoa,
we really do.
I
We
never walk.
That's
Okay,
bullshit.
appreciate
where
that.
did I walk back?
Oh, no,
Yeah, I want to hear
no,
that.
no, you
Listen.
didn't walk it back. You moonwalked it back. You glided back. You MJ'd it. So you didn't-
The reason
I want you. What exactly did I walk back? Because my first statement was
The reason-
absolutely in line with everything I said.
I just want you to know that I saw a cat in your background, and cats are dope. So we forgive you, bro. We'll act like it didn't happen. I
Oh,
promise.
I fucking
We-
hate cats.
I-
That's not my
we-
cat. That's my roommate's cat. You don't give me credit for
we
that
as in
shit.
the liberals among us. Like what? Who's we?
I got an elbow to throw at Sig Natural next, right? So Sig comes at me, he's like, oh, maybe this is bigger than you. Of course it fucking is. Of course it is. What? Right?
Yeah.
But like it's both bigger than an individual, but also done by individuals, right? It's also like GSU was trying to get at previously. Is that these motherfuckers weren't like thinking, okay, like this is like I'm gonna burn down this pizzeria, right, for the movement, right? Like I'm doing it for the people. Like, no, it wasn't fucking happening, right? A lot of them were fucking kids who were just having fun. This is chaos, right? White and black kids who realized there was an opportunity here and they struck, right? Yeah, that's exactly what fucking happened, right? Now you can go back to things like, well, these kids had more opportunities, right? And they were more connected with their communities and the larger structure of our nation. Then they would have been far less likely to do these things, right? You'd have far less people there, easier control, far less likely to have a riot. That's just something you could say. I agree with that. But like,
All right,
Prime-
Prime, to give you my own little one too. You know,
okay.
I'm just saying. You say that this is committed by. Oh god, this is even weirder. Like I'm getting into some weird shit. You say that this is committed by individuals, and like I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, just like, man, I feel like it's a lot more complicated than that. Okay, when you start going to like this sort of mob, when I say mob mentality, I'm talking about literally the mentality of the mob that's going on. Okay, not just like people going along with each other, but the sort of mass thing that like systemic issues pile onto a community and that community deciding to act in a certain way. Okay, to act out as like a mass, as like a thing lashing out against the places that they believe are the sources of their pain. Okay, and their suffering. And like when you just say like, oh, it's just like when you say like this is meaning language, like, oh, it's just kids having some fun, saying fuck the computer store, fuck Mr. Jack in the Box, whatever the fuck. Okay, like these guys suck. Like I feel like it's a lot more complicated than.
So, can I ask you a question? I can ask you a complicated question. Do you think the white kids and the black kids who participate in that are going to have the same criminal history?
Almost certainly not.
That's what I mean. Like, obviously.
Do you think that those people are likely going to suffer for maybe the rest of their lives for the action they're committed?
I mean, this is kind of the point why some people feel so unheard that they might act out. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
I'm
like
just
this is one of
saying,
those
like,
things-
this
no,
is
to answer for me, I'm gonna answer your question. Like, yeah, a lot of these people are definitely gonna get sentences. A lot of people are gonna be like, probably thrown in prison. A lot of them probably gonna get sentences. Yeah, I definitely do think so. They're probably gonna be disproportionate. As depending on what your race you are. Yep, 100%. And that's terrible. I don't think that's good. That's bad. I want to minimize that. It's just that the ideas that I have to minimize that are probably different from yours.
Yeah.
Well, sure. No, I think we have the same ideas. We both believe that going to the community and community activism is the way to go, right?
Yeah, but I also
Okay. So all right, hold on, Gambit. Community activism is the way to go. Implies that like this is the only way to go. Okay, community activism is most certainly a way to go. I never denied that.
It's the best way to go.
Yeah, and
You
sometimes
know.
things go.
You go there with
Any amount of
just agree.
philanthropy
Okay.
is not going to be the same as
I didn't
leveraging
say
the power of our
philanthropy. I
institutions.
didn't say philanthropy and community activism.
Yeah, but we've had this conversation before. When you
let's just community activate. Let's just
community philanthropy is what you mean.
No, I
Let's
don't.
just like
No, I don't.
community activism will solve slavery, guys. You know, Jim Crow, community activism, get that shit solved. You know, it's
Glad you
awesome.
brought that
No,
up.
those things needed war. Those things.
Exactly.
And you know what? A lot of shit
is a
today
form
needs-
of community activism.
Oh,
All right, this is a very broad.
Whoa.
Now we've just
In a weird way.
Gambit,
horseshoe our
Gambit,
way
if
into
that's
it.
okay, Gambit. If
Full
that's
circle.
how broad you want to
I'm
go,
joking.
if that's how broad you want to, go, I agree with you 100%.
Sig, you know I'm
That's how broad
joking.
you
That
wanna
wasn't
go?
real. Don't
Yeah.
hold me
No,
to
no,
that.
Yeah, of
clip
course.
this shit.
Even if it wasn't real, that was amazing.
Prime's not deleting this VOD. You're done.
Jesus Christ.
You're done, Gambit.
Is BBC community activism now? Like, what the-
Hey,
You know,
hey.
it might just be.
Corporation is in
BBC
no way.
can be community activism for
That's-
sure.
that's- Especially if you're not
Is-
stingy with it.
bringing the
stand behind
races
that.
together.
Oh
So do you guys do links if I throw a link in
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sure.
for you guys to check out? So I got to find it first, but I saw a link. This is just another thing to throw on the barbecue for the discussion about riots as the language of the unheard, or what's the strategic value of riots. I saw, and I think I can still find it, an article a while back that was analyzing like police strategy for dealing with protests. And the study actually came out with results showing that like overwhelmingly violence at protests is actually instigated by the cops and their treatment of protesters. Now this is a study, so I'm going to find the link, and if you know where I should post it to, you guys can look at it on your own terms, but or on your own time.
If you post it in our group chat, we'll share it with the
awesome.
with the Twitch chat. Yeah.
Well, awesome. I just thought that was another interesting thing to throw into the pot about like when we're talking about the causality behind these types of social phenomena.
Yeah.
Right.
If you really want to understand like rioting and stuff like that, something really powerful. If you look up, just like spend 5 minutes on the internet looking up a groupthink. It's like a thing we talk about. Like I'm not sure if you
mob
heard of it.
mentality.
It's like a big thing we
Yup.
talk about in like psychology, and it's like how these groups kind of operate, and like the way that like the group as a whole comes to make decisions and do things.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it's like one or two individuals, depending on the size of the group. It's like a very small amount of people making decisions, and everybody just kind of follows because there's a lot of people doing so.
Yeah, for sure. It can be good and bad, for sure.
But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting point. If it is true that many of the riots that do happen began as peaceful protests and then were instigated by cops engaging in brutal treatment of peaceful protesters, then that would be an interesting thing to consider when we're calling for the condemnation of riots and whatever. Like, again, you know my position on riots, so as I've tried to make it clear that when it's not connected to a larger program, it's just throwing a temper tantrum, right?
Here comes B More saying fuck the cops, right? That's your whole thing, right?
I'm not. No, I'm like. Why do you think that?
Wait, no. I thought you were like whole like abolish the police and shit, right?
Never ever, no lie, have ever said that.
Okay.
No, I'm actually not even bullshitting. I've never said abolish the cops. What I say is that the strong majority of cops
won't do anything.
are shit.
I must have caught you in a VC chat once, like grifting or something, you know. Like
whoa,
yeah.
I
doing some of that shit.
Oh yeah, I grift a lot, but I don't do that on the black panel. I'll tell you that right now. If you, no, I'm dead ass. If you want my real takes,
I believe you. I was like, no, this is.
But
awesome.
then top off, and you can always DM me, be like, "Yo, are you doing one of those things?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
In the future, I will. I'm just so convincing. I thought you were crazy. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's part of it. That's literally part of it. But to me, it's just fun, just taking different positions and seeing, can I do this? You know, and also provoking reactions. Can I piss people off? It's fun sometimes. It's terrible.
What do you do? What are you gonna do? One of those Destiny things? Like, what was he doing that with? Like incest or whatever? That was wild.
I don't go too far. Hell, there's certain routes I'm not going down.
Smart.
I don't go too far on the internet. But
Nah, you said fuck all small businesses, bro. You went real far.
Yeah, you went real far, man. Don't worry.
That's smart. I mean, no,
You-
I don't give a fuck.
Stop, Dolphin.
Fuck
Listen, I said it in a
fuck
lot more
small
polite.
businesses.
Okay.
Hey, you need to reveal your positions in the market before you get on here. Like,
Before I get in my positions in the market, I have like probably like $100 sitting in Robinhood invested in nothing right now. So I'm just wasting, not doing anything.
nah,
All
you
right,
holding
that's
Ace.
that,
all my market positions.
you holding
Fine.
that S&P for sure.
Oh shit.
You think I got that kind of money? That's funny.
Imagine
Hmm.
holding a position in the market. Are you even a lefty? Like what? God, what's next? A fucking $3 million mansion? Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It might just
Fucking
be.
investing in private capital and shit.
Oh, he's got
Ugh,
all his money tied
cringe.
up in PrimeCayes, is where it's at, right?
Yeah.
It's
That's
paying
what it's
fucking
about.
dividends. Look at him, he's right here, right? So
I spent too much money. Too much money on Prime's OnlyFans, guys.
oh boy.
That's all the money.
No,
goes.
wait up. That's a private only. Like you're not supposed to have told anybody.
Wow.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I'm
man.
sorry.
Come on. Don't reveal the
That's
Prime
not for
OnlyFans.
everybody.
My
That's
goodness.
just for the select.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Horrible.
My bad. My bad.
So yeah. All right, we can maybe, do you want to move on to the other thing? I'm not well, we'll see. Do you guys want to talk about like if black people value black lives? I think it's sort of related to what we were talking about before, but it's not the same thing. Do you want to do it? Yeah.
I'm game.
I don't know. Are we gonna disagree on that too much? I think
we
like
might.
Jesse Lee Peterson shit.
The question is very strange to say that, but like I would say like are the black psyche affected by like the typical like demoralization of like black people, right, and the dehumanization of black bodies and the commodification of it? Like, are we just as affected by that as our white counterparts here in the United States? And I actually would agree that we are. I would say that we are just as affected by it as they are. Okay, a lot of it manifests in different ways, but I think that like I would go far and say that.
So from what I don't know for sure, but my guess on that sort of thing would be, there's like this test that like Harvard put out, I think, called the like implicit associations test. And it judges like implicit biases on like of groups towards certain other groups of people. And one thing that shows is that people across the spectrum all sort of have a negative bias towards African American people. But African Americans are slightly resistant to that bias. So the bias is way stronger with people who are non-black. So I wouldn't go as far as Signatural to say that like we're affected equally as our white counterparts. But even black people still show a bias. So I think we do. Some of that stuff does affect our psyche and stuff like that for sure.
And a friend of mine who will remain nameless, who's a sociology professor who specializes in colorism, informed me that the sociological splits between light-skinned and dark-skinned black people mirror the sociological splits between black people and white people as a whole when you dig into the numbers. So he actually did work on this and has like a data. So when I can get his paper from him, I'll share that with you.
Sorry,
guys,
could you repeat that? Maybe I missed it. The sociological splits mirror what? Sorry.
So the sociological splits between light-skinned black people and dark-skinned black people mirror the sociological inequalities between black people as a whole and white people as a whole.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. See. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Right. So just feeding into that point that Dolphin was making about the implicit bias test, what we called. I actually did a little research in critical psychology and psychology of prejudice and discrimination with some of the work that I did research in and studied in school. And yeah, definitely what those are called unobtrusive measures. There are ways to get around the way people will lie in a lot of experiments, right? To conceal their true like biases. Like these measures are set to get around their ways of lying. So that's what the implicit bias test was like famous for.
I wish we had some light-skinned people here. I've only one person.
You don't invite them because you're a colorist.
Some light skin people. What do you mean by light skin?
Yeah.
My grandfather, who is a very dark man, okay, he would say this right to my face. He was like, "Listen, don't trust Whitey and keep your eyes on Lighty." Okay? To my grandma, I'm not even
I've
fucking
heard
with
that
you.
somewhere.
You
That's
actually say
hilarious.
that.
That
Yeah.
your grandfather was a king.
That reminds me of that
I mean,
old song. You remember that old song?
He's still alive.
What was it called?
Yeah, there was this old song that was like, if you white, you all right. If you brown, stick around. But if you black, get back, get back, get back, get back.
Dude, that makes sense. I remember in school, actually there's like a very like fervent memory in my mind. When I went to like a mostly black school, K through like 9, and then I swapped to another school which was a majority white. And I was at the black school. I remember a lot of times, like within black people, we bully based on skin color. I'm not as light as I used to be, but I was like really, really light. So I a lot of times get mistaken for mixed, and also because I was really smart, I often got called an Oreo. So there's like that on my end. On the other end, I remember there's this one kid. He was really tall and really, really dark. And people would always like call him like burnt chocolate and shit. They'd be like, I mean, it was always funny, but like when you think about it, a lot of that funny shit's like really like shitty and deep. But like he like the one kid was like, yeah, I'm a nice caramel color and you're like burnt chocolate, get out of here. And it was like, it's so in the moment all the kids are like, oh my god, he just roasted you or whatever, that's so funny. But like to think about it, like that kid going home couldn't have felt good about that.
Cringe.
Yeah.
I mean, like we think about the guys, the dark skinned guys get an easier pass. At least they have a place, you know. Like the dark skinned women, you know. It's like it gets really bad. I've heard there's so many times when anecdotally, so many times I've heard the
You
darkest
look good for a
niggas,
dark skin
okay,
girl?
like the niggas, okay, that I see that I hear that would just be like, man, I'd never date a dark girl, you know. I never.
That shit pisses me off.
Yo, I was so like, I'm like, god damn, my dude. It's like, yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah. Like a part of me is just like, okay, more for me, but then that's just stupid of me to think. Because at the end of the day, that's just flat out hurtful. Like now they're getting shit on both on first by their own, and then second everyone else. It's just flat out bullshit.
I had a best friend who they used to tell her all the time, "You look good for a dark skinned girl."
Oh yeah,
and it was like, wow, that's insane. Like when you really parse through that, like that's absolutely insane.
Yep.
But yeah,
You say you wouldn't go for a dark skinned girl?
no, they used to tell her you look good for a dark skin girl.
Yeah. Oh, no, we get that. Yeah, we hear that. You look. Oh boy, it's rough.
So cringe.
Yeah,
I think you know one of the things I remember is in Discord when I first went on cam in Discord. Like my Discord buddies that I'd like to talk to a lot of the time, they never really saw me before because they knew I was black. And like I went on cam and one of them immediately blurted out, "Oh, you have a nice skin tone." And I always it's stuck in my head. They're all white. They're all white. Okay. And it just stuck in my head. I was just like, the fuck this bitch mean by
What
this?
is a bad skin tone?
Yeah, let's get down to this.
I don't know. Maybe I kind of want to give them the benefit of the doubt. You do have a nice skin tone. I think you do have like nice skin.
I think we all
not
have
like
nice,
the color.
When she said
it didn't say color,
tone.
right? Tone is different from color, right?
Right.
Well, I think tone implies color. I feel like she should have said you have nice skin, or you. I don't know, some shit like you know, like when nice
I think you'd be just as sad. I think you're just as sad.
That means too black. That's what it said.
Nah, I'm not sure about that.
That's what she was saying. She was like, "Yo, if you was Gambit black, we was going to kick you out of here." Like, that's what was going on.
I'm not sure. I think he has. I think you have good skin tone signature. I think you actually do have a good complexion, all that. But like not.
I mean, he does.
Yeah, but like I wouldn't say that. I mean, I don't know. I can't get into this ladies. I have no idea. I wasn't there. Don't know anything about this person. So maybe you're absolutely right. Could be. I don't know. But it's not probably what my first thought would be with that, right?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times when so I'm gonna make an assumption. I don't mean to offend anybody, but like Sig Natural, you sound white. Not gonna lie, like, and so do I. Like, I go to Discord voice chat.
No, it's fucked up.
It's like I go to Discord voice chats, and I remember for the longest time I used to not use a picture of myself as my profile picture. People would like not believe me when I said I was black, and then they would like make me post proof, and then I would post a picture of what I look like, and then they'd be like, "Nah, you pulled that shit off the internet. Who the fuck really are you?"
Yo,
I was like, "No."
listen. I really love it. Okay, because like I can code switch a lot of the time, you know, especially with the best of them. But like, listen, when I'm like trying to go into like for years when I was going in a lot of those far right discords and all that stuff, man, I could just stealth in so nice. It was so nice just to listen and do all kinds of shit. That's great. I like doing that.
Dude,
Okay?
I always
Yeah,
say,
but
dude,
I do
phone
have to
interviews
say-
are my best friend. Okay.
I mean, I do have to say, is like the way we go about this conversation too in itself is problematic. Like the fact that we're going to categorize a way of speaking as a color. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to like shoot you down because I know what you mean. Like I fully know what you mean, so I don't want to be that asshole. But like to me, that's just an aspect of this conversation. Is the fact
You
that
just made,
that we say that
I guess where I was trying to go. Where I was trying to go with that is that there's a lot like kind of like there's a lot of things that are used in the black community to like delegitimize one's blackness.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
And
too.
like your voice is one of like this is exactly what Beamer was saying. It was like I kind of wanted to go, I got kind of caught, but like what it could be like how like for some people it's how smart you are. For some people it's what kind of music you listen to. For some people it's what kind of clothes you wear. For some people it's how dark your skin is. For some people it's like what your voice sounds like. And and I think this is kind of like a symptom of the whole thing we were talking about, where we've also kind of bought into the idea of like some of the racist ideas that are like put upon black people. And it manifests in the black community in slightly different ways. And it's like really harmful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, just because I have really bad ADD, all I could think about, Dolphin, when you were talking about your voice and the pick wasn't that whole recent Spike Lee movie about the undercover cop about the guy he like sounded white on the phone or whatever, and they were able to infiltrate with a white officer.
Klansman?
And what's the
Yeah.
Black Klansman?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but
I
like,
haven't seen that.
So you're
Oh,
telling
Prime,
me
you gotta see it. Good.
I need
movie.
to, infiltrate. No, I'm playing. You're telling me to grift. Top Dolphin says, okay.
Yeah, there's
haven't
also
seen
another
this.
movie that
You know,
came
you
out
said-
that was like
Yeah.
there was like I never saw this movie, but I wanted to. It was like the black guy worked in like a call center, and like I remember in the commercial the guy was like,
Sorry to
"Use your
bother
white
you.
voice." I haven't seen
Sorry
it.
to bother you.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry
so
to
good.
bother
Sorry to
you.
bother you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another.
you're-
Listen, everybody.
If you're a hardcore lefty,
everybody-
sorry, just one second. If you're a hardcore lefty and you like Adult Swim style content, it's like a hardcore lefty Adult Swim style content movie. I kid you not. Like
I mean, I was also.
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
was also gonna sell. No, I was also gonna sell the film.
Yeah.
You all should watch that movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Which one?
You don't have to be. No, you don't have to.
Sorry to bother you.
I saw it in theaters. My friend of mine, Aisha, she dragged me to see it. I didn't even see the previews. She said, "I think you'd like this." I saw it. I loved it. That was
So
the
good.
time when I saw that movie. I realized we are actually right now in a era of like golden age of black filmmaking. Okay, the last 10 years, black filmmaking's never been better. All right, but yeah, you should all watch that movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that tonight actually because I really wanted to see it. But
Okay.
it just reminded me. It's like the trailer at least the whole message is kind of like this black guy like he like learns how to talk white and then he like loses he like starts making it big and he like they kind of portray it as like is he like losing his blackness or whatever? Is he betraying his community by like being successful? Which is like something that like a lot of people I feel like some like question a lot of black people have to ask themselves.
It takes a
Which
radical
is
left turn.
fucked up.
The movie takes a radical left turn toward the end. So just watch it. It's incredibly entertaining. It's awesome. But that definitely is in it, and you're absolutely right. And for
Mhm.
people who know the actors, has anybody seen Atlanta? The show Atlanta?
I love that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know the guy who plays Darius. Always forget his name.
Yeah. That's the guy. Yeah, he was one of the main actors.
He's the main guy. So
Great actor.
he's the actor, and his voice, the guy whose his voice when he's talking white is David Cross. Just to give you an understanding.
I love David Cross.
They use it. That's amazing.
That sounds actually
Just to give you an
kind of
idea
fun.
of like the shift between like the face you're seeing and the voice you're hearing.
So I wanna get back to what we were talking about before, What were we talking about before? Fuck, now I've lost it. Like literally.
Does,
just lost
does
it.
Black Lives Matter
Yeah,
to
the
Black
bla-
people?
He was about to go into black on
Well,
black crime. Go ahead and do it, bro.
Yeah,
but we
Go
should
ahead and do
do
it,
Prime, I was
Prime.
gonna say,
I'll
the
do it
title
unless you
says,
do
"Do
it.
blacks
Right,
do
but
black people value black lives?"
yeah, do blacks
Alright.
buy Black Lives? Yeah, but like
He doesn't like blacks, I guess, is what he's trying to say.
Oh,
You know what? Sig argued this with me. I was like, what? This is weird.
It's the human eye. Listen, when a white person calls black people blacks, okay, it's
I
just
don't feel any
it's
type
always.
of way.
Ooh, man. Well, you're from Atlanta. You're from like the deep south, and I know that's common. Okay, there. But up here in fucking that shit is not fucking common. All right, people don't say
calling people
blacks.
black or the blacks.
I wanna.
blacks.
it's
The
just-
blacks, like do black, like when white
Well,
people
why
say
not
do
though?
blacks.
I'm friends with the blacks. I know, like the blacks are
Exactly. The
Like-
blacks.
Yeah, I got
It's-
one
it's-
black friend, man. His
Yo,
name's
Sig
Jamal.
got me, man.
Cool.
I'm mad
I got a
about this.
binder full of black people.
Mm-hmm. You know, there was 3 black dudes in my high school, and I knew all their names.
Oh,
I dated a black girl once.
we were talking about colorism. Is where I wanted to go with that. Yeah, colorism.
Yes.
And how yeah, I would really it would be great if we have some like especially dark-skinned women to talk about this. One day when we got like a bigger crew of individuals to come on these things, and we get some African American ladies, then we'll try to make that happen, because I think their opinions on this would be really interesting, like light-skinned ladies and dark-skinned ladies, to understand
You know,
like their
Lyra is
experiences.
back, right?
We'll talk about that later. But yeah,
Okay.
it's like I've seen that going up. I remember being in elementary school. I remember being in elementary school, and there was this. I was gonna say woman. No, she was a girl. She was a girl, my age, and she was darker, darker than everyone else in the class, right? Like African dark, you know. That's how I always described it, African dark. And I remember everyone used to make fun of her. I'm sure I've said, I'm positive, you know, just say I said something to her too. But like I felt bad about it. And I tried to be a friend. The problem is that she was actually very difficult to make friends with. This woman, not woman, this girl. This girl was very difficult to. She like, I don't know. She had a way about her. I guess she kind of like had a lot of self-confidence. Maybe that's what it was, and I didn't recognize it. But like, I tried, and it just didn't work out very well. In the end, I thought she was really pretty. But like, it was a thing. It was a thing. Like, oh, this girl is super dark, and that somehow is a problem. My dad is dark. Is he as dark as she was? I think she's probably slightly darker than that. But my dad is dark. My mom is lighter than me. It's I can just imagine someone like making fun of maybe family members like that, and that would make me feel bad. It would make me feel really bad. And like the trying to understand mentality, because you don't get it when you're a child. Right? When you're a child, when most of this shit happens, right? You're a kid, and you just don't understand it. You just like it's a really simple dunk, right? Not like a galaxy brain dunk. Say like, you got dark skin. Your skin is super fucking black, right? Yeah, it's an easy attack. But these things carry on into adulthood, right? And the feelings, especially, I mean, I'm sure black men who are dark also have something like this, but like black women especially, because they get hit hard, especially since we value women for their looks, right? And so if you're telling women that their looks are bad because of their skin color, that's got to be bad. I mean, that's got to be terrible for their own psyche. And that hurts. If I've ever added to anything like that, if I've ever been a part of that, then I apologize to everyone if I've ever done that, because that's rough.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, the society, it is molds. So it's like, even if your parents didn't ingrain this in you, your peers did. You know, it could be as simple as an instance where you see everybody else making fun of them. So, you know, you want to be on the out group, you're a child, so you just kind of chime in, you join in. It's like, and some of it could just be flat on negligence. Like, some kids do know better. It's just a mix of a whole bunch of different factors. But I will say that dark-skinned men are also, you know, discriminated against. Like, colorism's real, period. Like, I'm down to say, like, I'm okay with saying that. Obviously, you know, women take the brunt of it because they're also dealing with sexism on top of colorism on top of racism. So there's an extra layer there, but I would just flat out say that colorism is just a problem. Period.
Sure.
No, for sure.
Racial.
And I don't know. I feel like this is a thing, but I've never like looked into data. But from like anecdotal thing, and maybe this is just in the Black community. Something, and like this might not sound bad, but like I don't think it's good either. I feel like sometimes like
Oh God.
really dark skinned men can be
Attractive.
like fetishized almost. Like
I was
everybody
just
wants
about
like
to talk about
No,
this.
we
like,
accept.
like I don't know. I remember the first time I remember hearing it was from my aunt. It was always like that. Well, yeah, one, the BBC thing, but two, like I remember my my aunt was like, oh, like we were watching a TV show. She said, oh, that man's a nice like nice, tall, dark, and handsome. Like nice, tall drink of wine. And like it was just like it was because he was dark. That he was like attractive, which is all. I like.
Okay, let's get more of that.
It's like,
I support that.
But it's like really kind of I think it can be it's kind of
Nah,
twofold,
it's
right?
dope.
Because like
It's dope.
I don't think it's
It's
ever to like
It's
okay
dope.
to like kind of do that sort of thing.
So Dolphin,
Nah,
you've heard this.
It's but Gambit, please don't be that guy. Don't be the guy right now with the fetishism is okay type deal.
Yeah,
All right, I was just gonna say that
it's
like
so dope.
I've actually heard that. I've actually heard that
dope.
kind of thing from people. It's
Yo,
like
let Gambit win for once. Damn.
It's like, no, this whole black fetishism shit is cancer. Okay, and I say this as a complete coomer. Okay, Prime would know if you remember my antics last year. Big coomer, but the black fetishism shit is just wrong. All right, it's a disturbing and incredibly racist.
It has,
Especially if you put like
advantages in
the
college.
fucking
Oh,
the
man.
cuckold type shit is fucking weird.
Oh,
man,
oh,
I wish.
okay.
I
Oh,
wish
yeah.
a fucking woman would get it.
Sig.
Oh yeah, oh no, let's go there.
No.
Let's go there.
Okay.
This shit is fucking weird.
Sig,
Like,
I'll
fuck some
say
people's
this.
wives, but that shit is wrong.
Sig, I'll say this, like, oh man, you've been gone too long. We've had this conversation with Fanatic, especially the fact that Fanatic's not here. Oh, you're lucky, you're dodging a bullet because he's going hard on this. On the other side from you. Okay, but I mean, if he can do it.
That sounds like a Fanatic tape for sure.
Yeah.
But this John about I invite Fanatic to always come. I miss him. I haven't talked to him in a while. Okay, he makes some good music. I finally listened to his most recent album. It was pretty all right. But anyway,
Yeah,
I was gonna say that like another musician. I was gonna say that like this fetishism shit. It is not. It's about dehumanization. It's more of that dehumanization and everything. And
Maybe,
we're like,
maybe,
and it's not actually. You know what? Actually, you know what? Here's a
maybe
here's a
the
better
humanism
thing.
is its
It's
kink,
not-
man.
It's not.
Hey, are you kink shaming right now?
You kink shaming, bro?
Let's
You
not
kink
go down
shaming,
this
bro?
route.
Yes, kink shaming's okay sometimes. I'm
Yeah,
not
but
even-
if it's not based on hatred, then let it fly.
Nah, y'all
Okay, what
like
if it's
No,
based
because
on-
what
what if
the
it's-
problem is
what if
when
it's based
like,
on
even
complete-
it's like
oh,
the
y'all light
Asian
skin, oh
good
my
at
God.
math thing, right? Like the problem isn't the people who are who are maybe positively uplifted by it, but like if you say all Asians are good at math and then an Asian goes to school and like can't pass geometry, like that guy feels extra shitty about himself now, right?
Well,
like, you
Dolphin, I would say, I would actually say it's not even comparable to that. Okay, it's not because black men are seen as like fucking like super gods in bed or whatever. It's because we're seen as fucking animalistic. It's because we're seen as primitive.
Yeah.
It's not because
Hey.
of, like what these people are thinking. is
sometimes you
because,
gotta
hey,
be an animal in that thing, bro.
What these white men who are the prime demographic, what these white men are thinking is that, oh my god, my girl is my woman that I own, the white woman that I own that belongs to me is being dehumanized by this fucking animal. Okay, getting her shit absolutely blown the fuck out.
It ain't about
all
what
right?
he thinks.
That is what they're
It's about what he
thinking, all
thinks.
right?
It's about what she thinks, bro.
Sometimes it got to get blown out.
Okay, Gambit. When
It
we're
has to
talking
be on
about
the
porn,
menu.
or when we're talking about porn, it's never about what she thinks. Don't even think that. Okay, a fucking
No,
porn.
no,
is
I'm
never
talking about-
pornography, Okay.
Let them
No, I'm saying like maybe you shouldn't care so much what he thinks, bro. Maybe it's about what she thinks sometimes.
There you go.
Maybe you
Worry
shouldn't be
about
so
her.
misogynistic, bro.
Yeah.
Pleasing the women
This
is
is the weakest
fine.
bait.
Her.
This is the.
Wait,
this is
hold
the
on.
weakest bait.
Because
This is the
when you're
weakest
talking
bait.
about cuckolding, like there's whatever she thinks about it, but like one of the big drives for like males who are into it, because a lot of dudes won't do it, but like a lot of guys who are driven by the males that are into it, or that the guys are like, oh my god, like I love to see my woman get railed or whatever. And I think there's like, I don't know if I go as far to say is like my woman's being like fucked by this animal, but like maybe a little bit, like
BBC
like the whole
Gambit,
thing
right?
with like
Like,
a
Dolphin,
lot
that's
of
what she's
times
looking
like
for?
it's
Dolphin,
like
it's
oh
called-
this like
it's called
bad
a
boy
buck.
thug is like fucking my good, and one of my best
Bad boy
friends,
thug.
work friends, always say that like when Fox News uses the word thug, you can always hear the hard R in the background, right? Like it's it's totally like I totally agree with Sig Natural. That's what
On the
I'm trying
bust
to
out
say.
the do-rag. I'm going all the way with this.
Dolphin is called Dolphin is called nice. Dolphin is called like it's called a buck. Okay, they call them like, and they don't. And a lot of the time, they don't even refer to them as people.
That's
They
so
just talk about.
true.
They just talk about a dick. They don't even talk about. They don't say like black woman. I'm sorry. They don't say white woman takes like fucks black guy. It's white. It's BBC. It's the dick. It's always just.
listen.
Hold on,
Listen, bro.
no. I'm gonna pull
This is
back on that because
objectifying
part of it.
101.
Okay, so like we're all in porn, all of them are stunt cocks, right? Like that's what they are, right? Like they're a cock attached
But the black
to.
men.
So,
but
hold on, most of the time you don't even fucking see their fucking faces, white or black, right? Like you're a stunt cock. That's what you're.
But okay, so I'm gonna push back on you right here. Okay, black men. Oh god, you guys are gonna fucking hate me when I say this. All right. So like penis averages aren't actually that like different. Okay, between the races.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna put that right now.
Yeah.
Penis averages are different. Black men are selectively chosen in porn, the ones with the fucking mega dicks, to perpetuate a stereotype that people already believe.
Oh, fair
Okay. All right. So when you see like this BBC type, like if you had like a 6-inch dick. As like a black guy, you're not getting hired in porn.
Oh,
Okay,
stop
you're
rolling.
not
Okay, all right. So hold on, first of all,
No,
look,
relax
look.
right now. Stop. Don't dismantle this myth, man. Let it fly.
Ooh,
What you doing?
let's examine. Let's
I'm
examine.
gonna say there is a difference in penis size among races. It's just not as big as people like to think.
Yeah.
It's incredibly
Black
small.
men are on side.
No,
are
large.
larger on
You're
average.
missing it. No, sorry. Look. All right, lots of things here. Lots of things. Okay. So one, you're mixing up terms, right? Like what you're looking for is hot wifing, right? That's the term you're looking for. Hot wife. That's what that is. Cuckolding more kind of implies like a secretive, like behind a person's back. But you're talking about like a guy watching his woman. Sorry.
Get your categories correct,
yeah,
bro.
right. His wife, whatever, being railed. Yeah. So like that's more hot wifing. In any case, like, so I hear you. I hear you in the dehumanization of it all, right? That like you're bringing in this guy, and like I've heard it before. Like I've seen it in comments. Like, well, this woman is tainted now because she had sex with a black guy, right? So I get it. Right?
That is the draw.
On the other end, what does that matter to me? Am I in there or am I not? Am I in there or am I not?
Exactly.
Am I in there or am I
Exactly.
not?
You can't love her no more.
You're looking at this all wrong, Sid. You've been looking at this all wrong, bro.
This man talking size what you're saying. Listen, shut the fuck up. All right, let's just keep this train going. Okay, I like this. No, this is bad. We need to dismantle this shit because
It's
you know what?
so good, bro.
We'll do it after.
Wait, let me ask a clarifying
After
question.
I blow my load, then we can dismantle it. After that,
Sid, can I ask you a question? Did you go to a PWI college?
PWI? What is that?
Like primarily white institution, I think is what it's. It's like the opposite of HBCU. It's
Historically white college.
Yes, I did.
You don't
briefly.
Oh, okay. That's
yes. No. Gambit. Okay, Gambit. Listen.
You should have spent. You should have spent 4 years. You didn't enjoy the
Gambit, listen. No. Gambit, listen. It happened to me. Okay. No, hey, it happened to me. All right. Yeah, I went on fucking Tinder. Okay, and this is actually when I was in the military, so I looked really fucking fresh. I was in my uniform and everything like that. All right. Here's a little thing. It was one of my first matches. I matched this woman. Okay, I was living in like fucking El Paso. I matched this woman. Okay, and she actually responded to me. I was like, is she a bot? She's not a bot. Finally, one that's not a bot. Okay, and I respond to her, and I'm just like, hey, how are you doing? What's your interest? You like this? Great. And I'm just like being this nice guy that I usually am. And she's like, yeah, I like such and such. And so I don't respond because I'm like, man, I don't even know what to do. I'm feeling kind of nervous. Okay. And her next response, all right, like 5 minutes later, is like, listen, I also like big black dick if you're into that. Okay. Hey, she just fucking drops it on me. All right. And so here's what I do. Okay. I immediately get it very scared. And I unmatch, all right? Because that shit is cringe. Okay? Absolutely not.
You didn't do it.
And when I was,
you're not down for the cause, pause,
You
bro.
gotta be
Yeah,
the
right?
delivery
When I was,
man.
look,
Yeah,
what the fuck
bro,
is the
you
cause?
don't-
He didn't
Oh
want
my
to
God.
disappoint her. Okay.
When I was a shut the fuck. When I was a teenager, okay, I thought fuck you, Dolphin. When I was a teenager, I thought I wanted that shit. I thought I did. But once it
Bro,
actually
you
comes
should have
to
thought a
when it
little bit
actually
longer.
comes to
You
me,
do.
when it actually
You should've thought
comes to
less.
me and everything, I thought that shit was disturbing. I was like, what the fuck? I don't actually want this. This is weird.
What?
How
Nah.
much of y'all,
You
yo,
a
guys,
lucky
listen, I
fanatic
probably
ain't
watch
here.
more.
Yo,
I probably
send
watch
us her
more
profile.
porn than any of you motherfuckers in here, and I can't believe you guys are this porn sick. Oh my god. This
No,
is
it's not
disturbing.
about porn, bro. It's not about
Oh,
porn.
is
It's
it?
about
What the hell?
it's about offline interaction.
I'm just telling you, like, I went to college in the Midwest. Like, I'm not from the Midwest. I'm from the South, but I went to college in the Midwest. And you know, I use whatever I had to my advantage. You know, I was dealt a certain hand, and I just played what I had. That's all I had to do.
Like, why do you think we're getting economic equality in this country, man? No,
Oh man, no! Look, f that. This is my
I don't think
reparations.
Lexington Steel is giving
Fuck
us
that!
you know,
Like
economic
the
equality.
like taking
Yeah, I know the names and everything.
What-
I'm very good
taking
at
the
this.
white man's woman is my reparations. Fuck that shit. Like, what is that? What is this? Like, I don't give a shit about this. Like, wider, like, fucking, like, oh no, like we have to change the culture, right? We have to change the culture, and some far off future, we'll all be recognized as the full total human beings that we are. Great, let's do that, right? But I'm hard right now. And I don't know, like
exactly.
I don't know.
Priorities. Priorities, Sig.
Priorities.
talking about
I'm second guessing you. Hold on.
I'm-
What's going on here?
Look,
This man's just like I'm
I'm
hard,
here,
so it's okay. So
she's
so I
here.
want you to
Let's
clip
make
this.
it happen.
When
No,
Prime,
fuck that
when
shit.
Prime is hard, when Prime's horny, his morals start going a little bit.
No. My morals.
Oh man.
When my morals, when they're flaccid, when I'm flaccid and erect, are exact same thing, right? I am completely flaccid now, and I'm telling you, it doesn't. That shit doesn't matter. What do you fucking? What does that care? Me at the moment, right? Right?
At the
Like,
moment?
At the
It's a
moment.
lot.
Look, okay, all right. So we had a conversation about this before. Right? And someone, I don't know who, like they escalated this hypothetical, right? Talking about, okay, all right. Well, what if they like the husband's in the room, right? Or maybe he's not. Maybe it's just a woman, right? And she like starts
They're
like
always in the room.
they're always in the room. But she's like on some. They start saying some mandingo shit to you, right? You know, like some real racist stuff. Like, what do you do at that point? Look, I'm about to have a problem with you. As soon as I pop and your wife, I'm gonna have a problem. We have to have a discussion about all the things you just said.
I really want to ask Sig a certain question that I.
Yes. Are you gonna what? Go ahead, do it. Just fucking do it.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
Gambit.
I'll DM you.
Oh, you soft as fuck.
Oh my
No.
You say the hot shit in chat. Come on.
No, I'm not in chat. I'm in DM.
Oh,
Yeah,
come
but
on.
No,
that's
all
good,
right.
All right.
Well,
No.
I gotta say, everybody. Unfortunately, I gotta leave.
No.
I went from work to the panel. That's it. So I got food waiting for me. I got shit to do. But good. So for
He's
what I
got a
know,
white woman waiting for him.
I mean,
Right.
she was pretty forward. She told me what she wanted. Right? She wanted something tall, dark, and anyway. But I got shit to do. Next week I should be on because my schedule is changed due to coworkers feeling like not getting vaccinated. So I'll catch y'all later.
Absolutely. All right, buddy. Thank you so much. We love B More. Thank you for everything you do, buddy. Have a good one.
See you.
But okay. So I also
Just ask your fucking question, Gambit.
I also had the title just for you, Sig.
BBC Network. Nice.
But okay. Well, okay, ask your question.
No, so I don't think Sig is gonna admit to it. I don't know if I should admit to it publicly. It's like the reverse of the Destiny tape. Like,
Wait, what? Just say it. Just
have
say
you
it.
done it, Sig? You know what I'm talking about. You done.
I have
No,
no
I've
idea.
got three questions in my head that you could ask me. I actually don't know. I guess that's it. The reverse of the Destiny take? Is
When
it
you were
like-
talking about morals, during sex and stuff, and we were talking about specifically like interracial sex.
Oh, like getting called the N-word? Oh, Gambit. Okay, yeah, Gambit. Yeah, that was all right, cool. All right. I mean, like, if you want me to be Gambit, if you want me to be 100% honest with you, like, no. Okay. Outside of like, let's say, like some weird role play type shit, unless you want to be like weird with like that sort of stuff, possibly. But like, if this is like a normal thing that's like normal, then like
No,
I'm
it's
weirded
not
the
normal.
fuck out.
No, it's not normal. It's not
No, when I
normal.
say a normal thing, I mean like this is just like how you guys dirty talk or something, or how like some dirty talk with
No,
this
it
person.
was weird, bro. I can't explain the situation because I'm on stream right now.
What?
But
Situation. Oh shit, there's
What
a
is
whole ass
this? I don't
situation.
on Gambit. You can't be like tossing this shit out here, right?
This nigga's
Yeah,
name is
you can't be
BBC
going
Gambit, and
off
he's holding back.
Yeah,
okay?
right. What the fuck?
He ain't living up to
Gambit,
no
you
name
got-
right
you
now.
gone
no,
south.
listen.
What-
You can manage TOS. Gambit, I believe in you. You can manage TOS. Go
No,
ahead.
it's not TOS. It's like the it's, yeah.
No,
He's soft. He's
Hold on.
scared. That's what it is.
No.
So Gambit. All right, like
Yo,
what I need
on
you
the
to do.
couch.
What
I
I need you
never
to do.
listen to chat.
Send
But
me-
he told me not to say anything.
Send me a TLDR. Send me a TLDR, and then I'll make the judgment call. Okay, all right. But while you're doing that, while you're writing that, Sig. Okay. So, you're with a let's say white woman, but it could be Asian woman, whatever, right? And you've formed a relationship, and you love her. She's been really good to you. Been together for months, maybe even to like a year or two, right? And she's like, but yeah, like I'm into you. I mean, I love you, Big, right? Like you're the best thing that ever happened to me, and especially your dick. Well, what do you say? Is this what happens?
If she just likes my dick, that's not a race.
No. Sorry, your big black dick is what she meant to say. So.
All right, so if I knew this chick for like at least a year,
Well,
she just drops that on me. If I knew this chick for like a year, she just drops that on me, I would be very shocked. But like I would assume she was joking.
What happens
This is
next?
the situation.
No, she's
The
not. She's
situation
not.
actually-
She's like
Oh,
she's
God,
like, and this is part of the reason. And she's like, yeah, you know, this is something I'd always thought about, and like I saw you, and we got together. You were funny. You were smart. You were into
Black.
all the things that I was into, and you were black. And when I finally got you naked, you had the equipment I was looking for, so you were perfect for me. So, what happens next?
What happens next is we gotta have a real strong, hard conversation. Okay, I'm not making a joke about that either, like an actual one.
A
Okay, an
hard
actual-
conversation.
Yeah, the conversation about how, like, I don't know, like that sort of fetishism is just like not okay. And also,
So that's not where I thought Prime was gonna go.
like imagine,
really?
okay,
Where was I
imagine
gonna
that
go?
shit. Hold on, Prime. Imagine that shit, but with a white guy saying that to his Asian girlfriend. Okay, and let's see if we feel the fucking same.
And well, hold on.
All right?
You ask an Asian woman how she feels about her femininity and how that interacts with race. I cannot speak for my Asian sisters. I can't. No, I can't, and I won't. Right? And she might feel something different about it. Right? Like she might have an interesting that I can't, but I certainly can't do that for her. Right? So yeah, I don't know. But Dolphin, where do you think I was going to take it? Because that sounds probably maybe it's more fun.
I'm gonna use an example. There's a really cool Donald Glover. He does like a comedy special for Comedy Central,
Okay.
and he talks about how he's with a girl. I forget what race she was. I don't think she was black, but she was not white. I don't think either. But she's like he's like in bed with her or whatever, and she turns around and she said, and his quote is that she says to him like, "Fuck me with that N-word dick."
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And
Based.
he describes it as like a very like he really liked it. It was kind of empowering. But I want to get Sig's take on like what if he was in that situation.
know
That's what I
his
thought you were
answer.
going.
It's
Yeah,
the
that's
same.
what I was asking him.
Yeah, it's
That's what I
basically-
was asking him.
Yeah.
I just can't like I dropped in chat while I'm being. Y'all know me. Y'all know who I am. I don't care about anything, but there's reasons why I can't just
Hold on.
talk about certain stuff.
GSU. Oh, did you give me a TLDR? I didn't see it.
Oh yeah, I tagged you in chat.
Oh, okay, I missed it.
There's reasons why I'm going through madness, like tagging you in chat.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Instead of
All
talking
right,
on
no,
stream.
fair enough. Okay, gotcha. All right, hold on. That's cool. It's the TOS, IRL TOS. Got it. So
Yes, exactly. How y'all didn't understand
I
that?
didn't understand what you meant.
This is why. Listen, this is why
look
this
at
the
It's
last.
like, you know, I got this side piece.
I looked at chat and people were like soft bit. I'm like, yo, they don't know me. Like, who are y'all? But yeah, exactly.
Oh god, the last 20 minutes is why we need more women on this panel.
No,
Okay,
certainly.
understand.
Absolutely. And we're always looking for new voices, here on this channel. But yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I think the race of those women might differ based on who you talk to, and you know, Prime might
Now,
want a white
listen,
woman on
think
this
about-
panel.
Now listen. Think about. I just want to ask you guys to think about like what happens when we think of like even the term interracial. The interracial category in pornography is just synonymous with black fetishism. Fetishism of black men. Just black penises. That's it. When you're thinking about, I think I remember there was this porn star. Oh my god, it's famous because she was she was about my complexion. Porn star and everything. I forget her fucking name. I don't know every porn star's name but this chick's name. Oh my god. She was doing a thing. But anyway, she's a black porn star. She was doing a thing with a white guy.
Yo,
right?
hold on, wait.
When black
Cadence
women,
is
black
like,
porn stars
where
do
did
things
this
with white
shit go?
girls. Oh,
Cadence
gosh.
is
When black
like,
women do
we
Oh,
things
I'm with you. I'm
white
thinking
men-
all types of crazy shit.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Okay,
all.
that's
I'm
not called interracial, right? But when she said when she was doing a scene with a black man, okay, you know, they call that interracial. Because interracial isn't, even though they're both black, because interracial has nothing to do with like, you know, an Asian guy getting with like an Indian woman or some shit. Okay, interracial is like fetishizing black men that white men would like to do. I just want to put it here that this is being done by white men who want to like have this weird pseudo relationship with us. Okay, it's fucking disturbing.
That's interesting.
Right?
That's interesting.
Oh jeez.
You made me think of Sarah Bartman. Is everybody familiar with Sarah Bartman?
No.
She was a black woman at the turn of the 19th century that that had like huge ass, like had a huge ass, and they like literally like put her like did like a circus freak type thing with her, like and did like these racist exhibits and stuff. Like you know what I'm talking about now,
the Venus, something Venus. There's a word. Someone in chat help me out. But like, it was blank Venus.
Hottentot
Venus.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, you just got me thinking that when you were talking about the fetishism. And I completely agree with you, Sid. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I hate to be a dickhead, but when you Google Sarah Bartman, the second image in Bing Images is Kim Kardashian's Break the Internet.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. No, that's because people compared it to that. They actually compared that. Yeah, that makes sense actually. But okay.
But yeah, that's what I thought of when you were like going off about the fetishism stuff, and I thought that that's a very interesting point that you brought up about interracial porn. I think that's actually true.
Yeah.
And that's something you don't think about, right? Like that's something that you don't like when you're thinking about that category in the abstract. Like it wouldn't occur to you, but if you like have ever spent any time with porn, like you're absolutely right.
But why? But why? But why does that matter? Does any of that matter to me in the moment? Because we're moving away from like the topic, right?
I'm literally just like, but my dick. But I'm hard.
Yes.
But I need to know.
No,
but
yes. But unironically, yes. But why? Why do I have to care?
Did you say unironically?
Unironically.
Okay.
Unironically.
So first I want to comment on what
rapping, bro?
And I think you just like fucking blew my mind, man. When you talk about it, like porn is marketed towards men, specifically white dudes for the most part, and the fact that like white dudes are out there wanting to see white girls get blown out by black dicks is just like crazy to me.
It's a sign of progress. It's social progress, right?
I don't know about that. No, I wouldn't go that far.
Let's go.
At the end of the day,
This is progress.
wait. At the end of the day, porn in itself for men is like a very not to say that this is necessarily bad, but it's a very depersonalized thing. Like, and the guy in a lot of porn is just like a tool. right? And you know, it kind of speaks when white guys want to use black dudes as tools. If you think about history there, you know, like maybe one day we were tools on a farm, and now we're tools in their porn life, right? It's
Overlapping with
like
Get Out, the narrative of Get Out a little bit there.
I didn't see that movie. I was too scared. Okay, I had a white girlfriend at the time. I was like, nope. We're not watching this.
Well,
okay?
spoiler alert! Like,
I haven't seen it.
No.
I
You didn't see Get Out. I'm not spoiling shit. But guys, what the fuck? We're in a golden age right now. The last 5-10 years of black filmmaking have been fantastic. You're missing out.
Yeah, I don't know. So the movie might be great. I'm just saying, I'm not into like horror-esque films, anyways. I'm not sure if that's what it is. But
Dolphin, it's more funny than scary.
My mom saw it with me and liked it, and she hates horror movies. Just to give you an idea.
Yep. Same thing with my grandmother.
At the time, right? Like the way the movie was marketed, right? It was like this black guy meets like this white girl's parents, and the whole town's crazy or whatever.
Yeah.
And I had a white girlfriend at the time, and I was like kind of scared of that. I hadn't met her parents, and she keeps telling me that her parents are crazy, and I'm like, if I watch that movie, like it might be manifested reality. So I didn't see it.
Absolutely.
She was like, "Let's go see this movie," and I was like, "No, we're going to see Spider-Man. No, thank you."
Honestly, I would love to see
like Marvel movie number 275. Like, I'm good.
If I had a white girlfriend at the time, I would love to have watched Get Out with her and
for sure
know what it was about. I feel like that would have been a fantastic. I feel like that would have been a fantastic time.
But I'm gonna put that on my list after Black Klansman, or not Black.
So without spoiling anything, I'll just say that point you made about the porn and interracial porn and black men being seen as tools. There's a very, very much overlapping point to the plot of Get Out there. So I can't say more without spoiling it for you, but you did like touch on to like a very interesting underlying like symbolic part of the plot of Get Out. You know, Get Out's very original because it's a horror movie that it's explicitly making commentary about politics and race, right? Like a lot of horror movies like maybe inadvertently do so, but this in this case it's like explicit, right? And that's another thing that makes it very unique as a viewing experience. So I highly recommend it, you know. But y'all got me thinking. You also got me thinking about this extremely fucked up movie that I watched years ago called Happiness. Have you ever heard of it?
Happiness? Maybe.
Oh, Happiness? Oh, great.
Yeah.
Film. Great movie. Fantastic.
So Sig, do you remember it's a vignette, right? There's 3 stories in it.
Yeah.
Do you remember the one about the I think it was the second one about the girl who's like in a writing program at some university, and she like is trying to brown nose with this professor, and they like go back to his place, and he's like, you know, he's like he literally tells her, like, she's totally uncomfortable, like, well, she wants to fuck him or whatever, she's attracted to him or whatever, and they start fucking, and he's like demands for her to say nigger fuck me hard, and it's like such an interesting, like really awkward like scene or whatever, and she goes to the bathroom and discovers like these pictures of all these other young white girl students that he had been, you know what I'm saying? But when you were going off about the fetishizing and porn, I was like thinking about that vignette in that movie. Totally fucked up movie. If you're in the mood for something like Lars von Trier-esque, like fucked up, that's also like interesting, like feel free to check it out, you know what I'm saying? But
okay,
I don't need to see it. It's one of those movies I don't need to see again, but you guys got me thinking about that.
I would say that Todd Solondz's films have more in common with, like, they're incredibly dark comedies. I would say that Todd Solondz is a filmmaker.
That's a great way to put it.
I'd say it has more in common with like maybe like the Coen Brothers films, like the edgiest of the Coen Brothers films, whatever. But God, before this turns to a movie review panel, I'd rather just talk about in terms of like the humanization of.
Sounds like Cadence brought up a base scene. What movie was that again?
Happiness.
It's called Happiness.
Yeah, I want to.
Gambit. I feel like you would not like that movie, but like, all right.
Especially because you know Gambit way better than I do. You know,
especially because Gambit has kids. You have 2 boys, right?
A boy and a girl.
Boy and a girl. Gambit, listen. that movie's gonna fuck with you. Okay, so just, all right, watch it.
Straight
Watch
up,
at your own
dude.
risk. I'm serious.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
All right,
I'm the king of like getting people to think about getting people to think about stuff that has commentary that's also like compelling in that really Bernaysian way and fucked up. Like it might fuck you up. So just like tread with caution, right? I know it makes it even more like enticing to want to watch because it might fuck you up, but just tread lightly. Yeah.
Bet.
But okay, Top Dolphin, where did you land on all this with the fetishization?
Oh, where did I land? I still think it's harmful. I can't necessarily fault black men who take advantage of it, right? Like if you're gonna like while things are the way they are, I don't know if I feel bad of like I don't know if it doesn't feel wrong. I haven't thought about it. Like if Prime wants to go out there and like there's a girl who's clearly into him because he's black and she has like some fantasy. I don't know how I feel about saying like, hey, that's not cool and you shouldn't do that, right? But at the same time, I think overall as a narrative, it's probably bad. And so actually, when it comes to a lot of this stuff, I don't know if this matters, but maybe it's just me. I think media is like really, really impactful when it comes to like these sorts of stereotypes and stuff. Whereas there's things that exist in that can exist and are really good. That exist and are really bad, but like it's not necessarily like individuals who should fight against them. But I think a lot of times the way that we represent these things in our media can be really harmful. Like this is the same thing I say about like not having black professional figures in media or not having like black characters being tropes in media. I think maybe it's just me, but I feel like media plays a really, really big role on like the subconscious association we make about race. And so while I wouldn't tell Prime not to go get his, I would probably say that like the porn category is probably not okay, and like maybe we should like back off on that a little bit.
Yeah, I wanna my apparently Doobie is just walking in here. I see you, Doobie. You missed a lot. Sorry, you missed the conversation. I agree. And I think I've said it before. I agree that like it's problematic in its entirety and its cultural impact, and it should be dismantled. Like I said, we want to be able to be seen for the entire human beings that we are, right? All of us, every single person. And this limits us, right? If you're just a dick, right? That limits you, and it's bad. And then it makes other people feel bad. Like not every black guy is like super hung or anything like that. Like, and that weighs on you, right? It makes you feel less of a person, less of a man. And especially right because there's an extra pressure, an extra expectation on you, and that's absolutely terrible. That should be dismantled, and we should be working to do that. When I get out
on the other hand,
when I get out of this guy's bedroom, his wife, I will do that. Christ. I will.
Prime. If Amber blank, right? Like,
yo, base.
Yes, Gambit. I know. Okay, I fucking know. If Amber blank fucking calls you up and wants to do a video with you, Prime, you do that shit.
Amber,
of course.
I don't know who Amber.
Just Google it, okay? You'll get your rest tonight. You're gonna
Amber Blank.
Prime's gonna love me.
Her name is Amber Blank.
Yes. Amazing. Top tier.
Okay.
Like
amazing.
I'm gonna write this down. But
I shouldn't have said that shit. Oh my god.
I'm gonna. But I don't know. There's other women like her, so I'm assuming like this woman. But. Am I doing a video? My only problem with that is more how people who sex workers are treated, right? And so like that would be problematic. It could be problematic for me in the future. Like just like anyone who's considering sex work, it could be problematic for me in the future. But like that, I mean, the concept doesn't bother me. I'm assuming maybe I don't truly understand what this woman is doing, but it sounds like I know. And if that's the case,
there was this one video where, well, it's not what she's doing; it's what her and her husband are doing.
Okay.
Right? There was this one. I remember I was watching a video where I saw one of their videos, and I didn't know at the time that this was like one of those cuck things, because a lot of cuck videos, I get like I'm a black guy, and I'm a black. Yes, she does. I'm a black guy, and I like watching porn with black guys in it, right? But a lot of that shit is cuck shit, and I don't even fucking know it because the husband's the one holding the fucking camera, and I just don't fucking know, and it's fucking weird.
What difference does it make to you, though?
Let me make this clear. I remember one of these. I remember a time when Amber's fucking this guy, right? Okay, and it's a black guy, big guy and everything, and he takes himself out, and like the husband just kind of zooms in on it, and I'm just like, wait, what the fuck is happening? And the husband just grabs this guy's cock and then just gives it a good lick. Okay, just gives it a nice little suck, just like kind of kisses on it a bit, and then they just continue.
Nah,
and I just felt so fucking weird.
Oh no. There's nothing wrong with bisexual fun, okay? All right. To my bisexual friends out there, that's okay, right? Hey, like,
there's nothing wrong with being bisexual. The problem is that this is because this guy wants to fetishize these black men. Okay, this is all for him. All right. She has like
happy birthday. Like we're all getting what we want.
Oh my god, it's fucking weird. These sorts of things, this porn right here, it contributes to the idea that black men are sexually dangerous. Okay, it just does. In fact, I think that in the 21st century, it may be the number one contributor. What?
It depends on how you define dangerous, right? Like
dangerous as in threatening white. No, actually threatening the white male sexuality. Yeah, but threatening white male sexuality, which is enough to get us killed. Straight up.
Fair enough.
Okay.
That's true. That's fair.
No, fair enough.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I agree with you. But you keep moving it over to porn, but like that's not where I was going.
Porn is the number one contributor of these sorts of stereotypes. Straight up.
Okay,
always has been.
But you're talking about the root cause. I'm talking about like the tree at the top where I'm at. I'm on this branch, right? And look,
you'll justify anything just to get the nut. It's like
I'm just saying. I don't know, but no. I don't know what I'm supposed to. Okay, like what you planted a situation for us where you're online dating, right? And you like panicked and you rejected a woman, right? Because she said some words to you, right? Like if in another alternate universe, right? You're like, yeah, boy. You're like, I'm in, right? If there's another alternate universe we did that, like, what difference does that make? How did you dismantle? How did you contribute to racism or dismantle it or anything like that? Yeah.
But let's be clear though, he could have contributed to progress. Like that's what he could.
Exactly.
When you click on things in the algorithm, it makes it respond to you more, and it sends you more of those videos because that's how these sites work, right? And that's how these like apps and stuff work. Okay, so yeah, the more that you do watch it, literally the more that you contribute to it.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right, sure. Oh, again, you bring it to porn, but like I'm not trying to do that, right? Like I'm talking about like the end result. Okay. The end result.
IRL.
Yeah, IRL.
Yeah.
And like, what difference would have made if you had gone there and enjoyed stuff, and then after that you could have a talk with her, right? You can give her a book to read.
Now you're
like,
closer. Yeah. You're closer to her, and you can like try to help like break down some of these barriers.
Wait. Hold on.
If you block her,
Gambit is not trying to break nobody
and educate them about black issues.
Listen, bro, you got to learn how to reach certain people. No, there's certain. You got to know how to reach your audience,
to meet certain
bro.
people.
He's maybe thinking of boom. A lot of people.
No, listen. He talked about code switching earlier. You have to be able to code switch and reel your audience in, and then you can teach them other things.
Imagine a bad porn intro where it's like some Gambit ass motherfucker's like, all right, guys, listen, I need to be able to reel you guys in to understand my point of view, wearing a fucking BLM t-shirt and everything. All right, listen, here's how we're going to make this work. All right.
Which one do you, hold on. Which one do you think could change her first? Blocking her or going about it in the better way?
Yeah. What lessons did she learn?
Hold on.
She may not even understood. She may not even have understood why you blocked her. She may not even known.
She may not even know. She probably. Oh, listen. I'm sure she found some other nigga. Okay, it's fine.
But I'm saying, yeah, she did, and then he didn't give her the conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she
You could've
she
been
knew
bad
when
for
he
her life.
unmatched her right after that happened that was the message that made him
Come on, people
unmatched.
unmatched for all
She-
kinds of reasons. I hear stories from women all the time how like it's like you never understand, right? No matter what it is, right? Like I get that.
okay,
But
guys,
but one way or the other, even if she does know, right? But like, does that necessarily teach her a lesson? Does that like she might have
Yeah.
maybe the guy
but
beforehand?
it's not on Sig to put himself in an uncomfortable situation.
Exactly,
to teach her a lesson,
but
right?
both of them, but it's true both ways, right? It's not on him to put himself in an uncomfortable situation if that's uncomfortable for him, right? But it's not on me. It's dismantle racism, right? When
But that's
like
how we dismantle it. Like maybe like we need people like we feel like our criminal justice system is bad, right? And we need people advocating to change these systems. And that's a a way that we could use. Say, hey, I don't want these black men in jail. That we have like things that they can help us with outside of jail, right?
Yeah,
And then we
Gambit,
can
how
have
the
people
fuck?
on our side.
Gambit doesn't even. Gambit, you don't even
This is-
believe what you're saying right now.
No,
man.
Sig,
You don't even
this is-
believe what you're saying.
you
right
don't
now, bro.
understand. Sig, you don't understand community engagement. No, I'm playing.
I am saying
Community engagement.
I take every opportunity to reach out to my white brothers and sisters. I will do it in
Well,
any
sisters
in any
especially, right?
environment, in any medium that they need. So
who's
like
that
I
one
do it through
people
Twitch,
male-
right? And I
Who's that one? Who's that one guy? That one male porn star who's a Twitch streamer and everything. God, if he watches our
Oh,
shit, he's got connections.
Manuel Ferreira.
Oh my god. Yeah, Manuel Ferreira. Manuel
Yeah.
Ferreira. Okay, listen, guys on Twitch. All right, chat. All right, send Manuel the fucking clip of this shit. Send him this fucking VOD. All right, I want you to call whenever he's out there with his little director friends. I want you to call the next interracial porn community engagement. All right, that's exactly what I want you to call. Okay,
I was
Listen, bro, it's
okay.
life is all about changing hearts and minds. Man.
I was in
Like
his.
that's what we're here for, right?
I was in Manuel's. Oh man, I was in Manuel's Twitch chat, and I told him he was my favorite porn star, and I said because he likes One Piece. He's a big One Piece fan, and so.
Oh
my god!
And he was like,
fuck
really?
One Piece fans.
He
all of
was
them.
like, really? That's why? Like, yeah, that's why. No. I guess he's good. But
Manuel is pretty talented. He's a very talented man.
Talented
He's
guy,
good, and
yeah.
he's got very little
idea.
scandals. Thankfully, gosh.
Anyway, but okay, well. Changing
Sig
hearts
Natural
and
is like a
minds.
porn
I'm a
connoisseur here,
of
by the
porn.
way.
Changing.
I totally. I'm not gonna lie. I am okay, but like this like BBC shit because it's because I'm a porn connoisseur. I've ascended. I've realized how fucking stupid this shit is. Okay.
Changing.
Wait,
Like,
I'm with you. I'm with you. I have a question for you, Signet. I brought this up on a panel a long time ago. I think Prime might remember.
Can we get
how
Sasha
do you-
Grey on here? She streams on Twitch. Ugh.
Oh, that's true.
Continue. Yeah.
How do you feel about giving the homies porn recommendations?
Oh, I dropped a lot of nice shit in here, didn't I? Oh my gosh. Oh goodness. I don't even think I give her the homies for it everything. I don't even know what you're into, so I can't be the one to just.
Oh, you can
I'm
tell
not
you.
saying, no, I'm not asking for recommendations from you, but just like the concept, right? Like sharing porn with the
the
homies.
concepts.
Yeah, I
Sharing
brought it up
porn.
once, and people
mean, if
were
we're
like,
like-
really,
I mean,
really
if we
against
got-
it.
I mean, if we got our dicks out, then no. But like, if we're just kind of talking about like I don't know. I sometimes I like post shit to like flex on the other guys. I'm just like, man, you think this shit is good? This shit is good. Okay, like I like do some shit like that or something. And sometimes that's funny.
Yeah,
I'm
like
just
you
trying to
see a
flex on
good
this
porn, and you're like, you know what? I found like the best fucking shit, and you like you send it to a homie, right? Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
That's no. I'm out of that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, this has been a great conversation. I think it's been fruitful. It's been productive. Changing hearts, minds, and groins. Right. So, thank you.